These are uncharted waters in front of a crowd of more than 15,000.
Listen to the stirring.
Via Morgan! Yes! No offside.
Rolling on a river.
Oh, this is a chance. Fishlock! It just had to be.
And Wales keep rolling in this competition, don't they? They've arrived in Zurich for another must-win match. Could they, in a few hours' time, secure their place in a first-ever major tournament? It is a real possibility. But standing in their way, Switzerland, a side who made the European Championships this summer, it's a Tuesday night World Cup playoff final kick-off in just over 10 minutes' time. Good evening. Yes, these playoffs are complicated. No, they are not simple. But the simple fact is Wales have to win this game this evening if they are to keep their World Cup dream alive. We will get to the nitty-gritty, the possible scenarios and permutations as we go along, I promise. But I don't want to confuse these two early doors. It's not fair. Danny Gabidon, Katie Sherwood joining us. Good to see you both. And Katie, throughout this campaign, we've been saying another big game, another must-win, but we are now that one step closer. I can see from your face you're excited.
I'm excited and I'm nervous. This is a huge game. This could be game-changing for Wales, and it's a moment that we really need to embrace. We're on the brink of greatness, and this is the dream, the ambition that this team has been chasing for the last 10 years, and we've seen them deliver the last couple of games, but this is the time now where they really have to step up, really need to deliver, and we need to see that winning mentality. And I'm just really excited to get going because we've been waiting a long time for this.
I was going to say, I'm getting goosebumps. I can hear the emotion. Danny, you were there as a spectator on Thursday night, up and down from your seat, all those disallowed goals. But in big games, you need big players, and up steps Jess Fishlock. And we will be talking about this goal for years to come, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will. Sensational finish from a sensational player. Look, I think the game probably could have been over in the first half. We had so many chances, but you just had that feel, is it going to be our night? You know, we go into extra time, you're thinking maybe penalties, and we all know what a lot of these penalties can be, but Jess steps up and just says, no, I'm going to kill the game right now. She'll be the first to admit that it probably wasn't her best performance, but big players step up and produce big moments, and that was another one from her. And
I wonder, is it going to take a moment like that this evening, Katie?
Yeah, and that's what big games need. They need their big players, their experienced players to step up and lead the way. She said before that free kick was taken to Rachel Rowe, put the ball front post and I will do the rest, and that's exactly what she did. Great delivery and great execution.
Well, look, we are very nervous here in the studio. I wonder how they're feeling out in Zurich. Let's go and join our team over there. Laura Kenyon, our reporter, and she's got some company.
Thanks, Kat. Yeah, Gwen and Harris with me, fresh from her travels around Zurich, taking in the sights. Gwen, a massive game. On paper, Wales probably the underdogs, but exactly the calibre of opposition they expect to be competitive against.
Yeah, a huge test this evening. You expect to be playing a good team at this stage of a competition, and they are a good side. You know, they have reached World Cup finals, European Championship finals, and they actually have history of the playoffs as well. They beat the Czech Republic on penalties to go through to the last European Championships. They are a good side, and Wales will need to be at the top of their game.
They have got Champions League winners, they have got WSL title winners, but so have Wales.
Exactly, and I think that's the point. You know, I'm confident this evening because I think they do have a lot of vulnerabilities, especially in the defence. Yes, they have some very good players, but collectively, I don't think they've maybe got the spirit that Wales have got. And if Wales can utilise the width very well, I can see us winning here this evening.
It is a winnable game, and let's get a bit of team news now. And it is good news for Wales. Everyone available for selection after coming through extra time against Bosnia, an unchanged side from the playoffs semi-final. The goal scorer and Wales's most capped player, Jess Fishlock, in that familiar central role, and teenager Carrie Jones along with Kerry Holland supporting Kaylee Green in attack. strong lineup for a big game, and I've been speaking about it with the Wales manager, Gemma Granger. Well, Gemma, that World Cup dream now in touching distance. How significant does this game feel in Wales women's history?
Yeah, we know it's a significant game. We've prepared for this game. This is exactly where we want it to be. So we're here to enjoy it. You know, it's significant, but we want to go and show everyone the team that we are.
Extra time means extra minutes in those legs from Thursday. How's the recovery gone?
Recovery's been great. You know, we prioritised it straight after the game on Thursday. We've really focused in, and I think tonight the girls are ready to perform.
Thank you, Gemma. Good luck.
I love it. Game face from Gemma Granger. There's a job to be done. It is a step up for Wales this evening. In possession, we are going to have to see some improvement tonight.
Yes, I think on Thursday we at times were sloppy with the ball. We've really seen this team develop their possession-based game under Granger. She really wants us to be brave on the ball, play through the thirds, utilise players like Sophie Ingle to play through the thirds. But unfortunately, things didn't stick, things didn't go to plan. So I just think we need to tidy up with the ball because good teams will punish us when we give the ball away.
And Switzerland are a good team.
Yeah, they are. You'd expect Switzerland to pose a lot more threats than what Bosnia did on Thursday night going forward. And I just think Gemma would have looked at some of these clips and kind of the areas in which Wales are giving the ball away. You know, those passes from defence into midfield. You know, you really have to be spot on with that, as I said, with the quality that Switzerland have in forward areas. You'd expect them to punish us a lot more than what we saw Bosnia do on Thursday night. So it's going to be ball possession, and certainly in our own half, keeping hold of the ball is going to be really important.
What about the accuracy in that final third?
Yeah, that needs to get a little bit better too. I think you saw on Thursday night where we got into wide areas really well. A lot of crosses came into the box in both halves, and this probably happened on too many occasions where just that end product wasn't there, wasn't enough quality on the cross. I think you see from these clips, lots of bodies getting into the box, but just not that quality there, not that composure to pick a man out. So that will have to get better tonight. But also on the flip side, defensively, we're going to have to be spot on as well. Obviously, we need to go out and try and get a goal. But as I said, with the quality that Switzerland have going forward, we have to make sure we keep the back door shut as well.
Who's the danger woman or women for Switzerland?
So Ramona Bachmann, a former teammate of Sophie Ingle, so we know a lot about her. She is their Jess Fischler to Switzerland, so she is a very dangerous player, very direct. She'll try and drop in and pick the ball up deep. Then it gives players a decision, do I step, do I leave her? So she'll pick the ball up, she'll drive, she's very aggressive, and she'll shoot from distance as well.
Yeah, 128 caps, 56 international goals for her. Not bad, we'll say it like that. Impressive stuff. We've mentioned the tiredness maybe that Wales will be feeling after that extra time on Thursday. Does adrenaline kick in now? Do they forget about the fatigue?
I don't think they'll be thinking about it. I really don't. You could say it might play a factor, but I'd rather be in Wales's camp. You look at Switzerland, I think their last game was probably over a month ago. They played Moldova 150-0. How much do you get out of that as a team? Not too much. I think from a Wales point of view, where you're not having to think about it too much, you've got the euphoria of obviously winning on Thursday night. You obviously travel away. Such a big game. I think as a player, if you don't have energy going into this one, if you're not able to run around at maximum levels, there's something wrong with you. So I don't think it'll be an issue for us.
We mentioned how complicated the playoffs are. There are 2 other playoff finals happening this evening. We'll keep you right up to date. But there's a possibility that Wales could get through this evening with a 2-0 win. Are they thinking about that or just the victory?
I think they just have to go out and just win the game. You can't be thinking about what other teams do, and you have to be in control, just winning this game and then looking ahead.
Here we go then. History beckons. Wales have a huge 90 minutes of football ahead of them. No mistakes, no regrets to reach that World Cup. This is a must-win. The game changers go again. Settle your nerves, cross your fingers, toes and everything in between as we join our commentary team in Zurich, Gwennon Harris and Simon Davis.
Thank you, Catherine. Well, it's been an extraordinary campaign, and it's come down to this. A win, and Wales will likely be 1 game away from the World Cup, but who knows if other results go their way, a 2-goal win could see them qualify tonight. Whatever happens, this is a huge night for Welsh football. in the home of Zurich FC and the temporary home of Grasshopper Zurich. The odds stacked against Wales. They are the underdogs, but I don't think Gemma Granger would have it any other way. Switzerland narrowly missed out on topping their qualifying group to Italy, a team they actually beat away from home last November. They're unchanged from their last qualifier. That was a 15-0 win against Moldova. Barcelona's Ana Maria Srnagocevic has 70 goals in 140 caps. She's one to look out for. Gemma Granger has named an unchanged Wales team from the win over Bosnia-Herzegovina. Jess Fishlock's winning goal has been tweeted across the world how Wales could do with another moment like that tonight. Big night for the back four, at the heart of which is Hayley Ladd and Gemma Evans, who have formed an outstanding partnership. The match officials this evening led by Sweden's Tess Olofsson. She leads a team of assistants which come from Estonia and Cyprus. Joachim Campus of the Netherlands in charge of VAR, which, may I remind you, was used to help rule out a Wales goal against Bosnia. I think we all thought that Fia Morgan goal was in. Well, what a night in store, and it could be a night of Welsh football history. But Gwen and Harris, there must be no room for nerves, no room for sentiment. It's all about doing the business on the pitch this evening.
It certainly is, and well, it's elation or devastation at the end of this game. So Wales have got to go for it. They've got absolutely nothing to lose. The pressure is off them in that sense. The pressure is certainly on Switzerland. They are the favourites. Wales are the underdogs. But that actually suits the way that Wales want to play. Hitting, probably sitting deep and trying to hit on the counter-attack.
Well, you and I have covered the entire of this campaign, and we should remind viewers that this is a Welsh team that took France awfully close in 2 separate occasions.
Yeah, exactly, and I think Wales will draw so much confidence from those games. They know in the big occasions, when Wales play the likes of France, Norway, England in the past, they've really risen to the occasion, and the characters that Wales have got in their team, you expect nothing less this evening.
Well, significant support for Switzerland this evening, who have many star players. Ramona Bachmann, as Katie Shearwood was saying, among their star names. But tonight could be all about Wales. A night of high drama is in store. That seems to be the Welsh way, and I don't think we'd have it any other way, Gwen and Harris.
No, not at all, but you were saying then about, the crowd. Actually, the crowd is quite far away from the pitch, so, that might take a little bit of the intimidating factor away for Wales. Don't think the crowd is as big as it was on Thursday evening either.
First touch for Switzerland, Maritz of Arsenal. There's quite a few WSL players in this Swiss squad, away from Ladd. And we've seen Welsh fans as well during our time here in Zurich, Gwenan, and many supporting this Welsh team abroad for the very first time.
It's amazing to see, I think the numbers of fans coming out to support Wales now in away games is probably bigger than what were when I was playing at home. You just see those bucket hats, the red shirts everywhere. I know obviously Wales are playing in yellow this evening, but it's just amazing to see that development, and hopefully they'll be rewarded with a superb performance and obviously a big result.
Ingle. It's a surging ball for Kayleigh. Big evening for Kayleigh Green, who has been amongst the goal scorers for Wales in a significant way during qualifying. I tell you what, if Wales could get an early goal, that could put a spanner in the works for Swiss plans. Roberts dispossessed, and this is where the home side could be dangerous. So was an option. Safely back from Gemma Evans. No risks from O'Sullivan.
It was a good recovery run by Rhiannon Roberts, and after she made the initial mistakes, actually a poor ball across the midfield from Sophie Ingle. That put Wales under pressure after so much good work as well. For putting Switzerland back, forcing them back into their own corner. Putting them under pressure early on, and obviously keeping them away from the Welsh goal. It was good play initially.
We apologise for the breaking commentary there. We are still with you. And Switzerland with the first real chance away from Evans. Fishlock. Characteristic misplaced pass there. So, he has scored 9 goals in qualifying from Basso. Had it not been for a draw against Romania and a defeat against Italy, then Switzerland would be going to the World Cup already. Draw against Romania proved very costly.
Yeah, I think that's something that Wales will have taken a lot from when they looked at the results and looked at the performances across the Euros. Yes, Switzerland are a good side. They've reached major tournaments. However, they are vulnerable and they concede often. And they concede late on in games as well, which has become a pattern. Wales obviously will have done their work around that, but they know that they'll be able to damage and punish this Swiss side if they're better in possession than they were on Thursday evening. We've seen a couple of occasions already, just losing possession, just a bit sloppy.
Maritz to Caligaris. Switzerland wanted a free kick for a tackle on Bachmann.
You just see a little change from the Welsh side in terms of normally play with one holding in the midfield row, but there's a double pivot there this evening with Anhar James dropping alongside Sophie Ingle.
Well, Folmy up against Evans there. And pointing out the running track around the pitch. This is a venue used for Diamond League athletics. Of course, what that means for Gemma Granger, she has to shout a bit louder, I think, maybe, to get some instructions to and from the bench. Ball with Maritz. Up against Jones. And there's going to be a lot of that tonight. Attacking players having to do their defensive duties. Maritz. There's the option of Folmy. Wales have been so disciplined defensively during this campaign, and that will have to be the case tonight, Brennan.
Yeah, it certainly will. Look, they're going to have to be at the top of their game. They know that. As we've already mentioned, they do tend to rise to the occasion. One thing they will have to ensure is that they stop crosses, because the Swiss are very good in the air, especially Suna Gocevic. She's good, so's good in the air as well.
Maritz looking for Folmy. Ingle there. And here's Kaylee Green. Fishlock. A good run this from Green. Too many options here. Though Holland was one of them. Well, the first breakaway attack for Wales may be showing that there are gaps in this Swiss defence to exploit.
Yeah, it was good play from Wales, actually, because when you play the way Wales are playing with a 4-2-3-1, sometimes that forward player, so Kaylee Green on this occasion, can get isolated. So it's really important that those forward players around her join in quickly, which they did. And then she was just looking for that cute cut back around the corner a little bit to Kerry Holland.
Rachel Rowe with the throw. Carrie Jones and Green, the closest players to her. Here is Green. Towards Fishlock. Ingle. Good first touch. Here's Carrie Jones. It's patient attacking build-up play, this. And Jones gets the free kick.
This certainly is an opportunity. You know, when you looked at the Swiss team from the last couple, 6-7 games, they've conceded quite a few times from set pieces. Wales need to ensure that the delivery is good. It's in an area where they can run onto to attack it. Tend to say try and whip it towards that back post, and that corridor of uncertainty for the goalkeeper.
Well, it's the other side to the goal that led to Jess Fishlock's success against Bosnia. It is another near post effort, this time from Anhara James.
That was poor quality there, and there was a couple of them on Thursday evening. How James would be disappointed with herself. You have to beat the first player.
Rachel Rowe. For the first time this evening, the Swiss fans making a bit of noise. Rowe with the long throw. Green. Could it fall for Kerry Holland? Instead, it goes back to Talman. Here's Ike Bagoon.
Swiss playing with a 4-3-3. So Bachmann, the top of the midfield, Ramona Bachmann of PSG. But she'll push forward. To see her now, she's gone on to Gemma Evans, but then she'll try and find those pockets of space between the defence and the midfield. She'll link the play well.
Ball up to Fulmy. Supported there by So. Ramona Bachmann is a former Chelsea player. So many of these players, household names to no doubt viewers watching us on BBC Two Wales. Well, it's a heavy ball. And Rowe desperately trying to get it back from Sunagocevic.
Wales will have to ensure that they stop those crosses, because you could see it was just clever play. You know, Sunagocevic, 70 goals and 140 caps, the record cap holder. She's experienced, and her movement then just pulling away towards the back post, towards the smallest player on the Welsh team, Rachel Rowe, to try and get an advantage. So Wales have to stop that at source, and they have to stop the cross.
Catherine mentioned at the top of the programme the complicated permutations. Was a win would see Wales go to this inter-confederation tournament in New Zealand next February, unless they win by 2 goals, and either Portugal or Scotland tonight win on penalties. It's a very strange setup, but any sort of result here tonight will be seen as a massive, probably the biggest result in Welsh women's history.
Oh, it certainly will. I think you just deal with that. You know, just looking to get that victory and then deal with whatever comes past it.
Roberts. Get that cross in past Ike Bagoon. Helped out by Green. Jess Fishlock in a very high position, which I think is where you want to see her.
Yeah, she's playing in a similar type of role to Bachmann. Just trying to play between the lines, trying to get in those spaces to create something. I'd just like to see Wales, when they are attacking, they're going to have to show a little bit more intent as the game goes on, in terms of getting their full-backs further forward to support the play and pushing one of the midfields of James and Ingle. However, you know, I think they've been quite sensible in this opening 10 minutes. You know, so far, just nice and steady, keep everything tight.
Maritz, the ball to Fulmy. Rower to be careful there, still with Fulmy. Not through Gemma Evans. One of the key players for Wales during qualifying. Fishlock wins it back. And you thought that these Welsh players had to work hard against Bosnia-Herzegovina in Cardiff tonight. Another shift is needed. Away from So. Switzerland just sizing out Wales, it seems. Happy to keep possession. Very comfortable on the ball. Because any team that beats Italy away from home qualifying deserves respect. Gemma Evans has got to watch the run of Fulmy. Safety first, and wins the free kick. I think she would have won the goal kick anyway.
Yeah, she won the race, didn't she? But you can see, you know, Fulmy, the youngster, powerful, she's quick, she's direct as well. But Gemma Evans, you think back to that, both those games against France, she was outstanding against Katoto, and Katoto actually didn't get much change out of her. Now, there's not many defenders across Europe that can say that against one of the, the world's best players. She needs to be right at her game, and again, that partnership between Hayley Ladd and Gemma Evans, which has developed so well during this campaign, needs to be at its best. The distance in and the communication between them.
And remember, this is knockout football. There will be extra time and penalties if needed. Maritz of Arsenal. Got the option of Reuteler. Instead goes for Bachmann. Back to Maritz. Caligaris. Happy to just keep the ball here, even if it is in their own half. And Wales standing off Switzerland at the moment.
Yeah, you just see the organisation from the Welsh, obviously the back four, and then, as I said, you've got the two pivots in front, and Hannah James and Sophie Ingle just trying to protect the space, communicating well. Just block off, especially someone like Bachmann, and limit the space that she can get herself into, because everyone knows how dangerous she is.
Lovely turn from Maritz, has left Jones for dust. Sudogocevic. Rachel Rowe with the important block, and eventually with the clearance too. First time we've seen Sudogocevic in action, Barcelona player in a wide position there.
Yeah, she tends to play wide of that front three, but obviously she can do damage on either side or in the middle. Won the Champions League. Didn't start either of the Champions League finals with Barcelona in 2021 and this year, but came off the bench, makes an impact every time. She's powerful.
Maritz gets round James, and a flailing leg from Anhara James means that the Swiss have a free kick here, their first of the game. Just a late one.
I think when Wales are under pressure, they have been, you know, they've sat a little bit deeper, obviously, so in that low block. They just need to ensure that they get hold of possession. You know, Kaylee Green's done well on a couple of occasions, but at times, you know, the Wales players need to try and look for her instead of just hitting long and hoping. They have to try and bring her into play, so that then that allows Wales to get forward.
Bachmann's free kick, driven into the middle. Header from Evans. Holland. It's back in, and Wales have to clear it. So trying to bring it down, and the shot from distance. Well, O'Sullivan just did enough, I think. She saw it all the way, and it wasn't a bad attempt at all. Caligaris.
I originally thought that Laura O'Sullivan got a hand on this, but obviously that they were near. Actually, lucky that it was off target. I don't think she could see it. She moved late. Yeah, you can see how late she's moving. She can't see, it's crowded, and yeah, it comes off the post. I thought there was a touch, but hard to see. Wales have to try and obviously limit. They've got to get up quicker to stop those shots.
Well, Caligaris, who has scored 5 goals for her country, this being her 39th cap, somehow got it through the crowd of players, and I think Niels Nielsen there, the Swiss coach, thought that it was 1-0. Niels Nielsen, a Danish coach, actually managed the Danish side, spent time in China as well as their under-20s coach. Appointed back in 2018.
He took the Danes to the... Well, they were runners-up in the Euros, weren't they? He was a runner-up himself and the Coach of the Year to win Serena Wiegmann.
It's a coach of fine pedigree, no doubt about that.
I'm sure he'll actually be disappointed that they're in this situation. You know, that draw with Romania, the one draw, is the reason that they are in the playoffs. So they're disappointed with the squad, with the names that they've got.
Good interception from Ingle. Green just couldn't find Fishlock, and a hand up there from Kaylee Green, I think, towards Sophie Ingle.
Yeah, but that's just what I was alluding to, you know, a couple of minutes ago. You have to be able to maintain possession there, and we actually, you know, if that pass went to Fishlock, it would have been a good situation there, because the Swiss fullbacks have pushed so far forward, and that's one of the areas that Wales will be looking to exploit, the spaces down those channels, or between, you know, when they sit deeper between the fullbacks and the centre halves, because, as I said, they do concede often, Switzerland, and concede from wide areas often. They don't tend to defend the front post well. In the clips that I've seen, Wales have to be in positions to actually impose themselves on that.
And here we see again Switzerland pushing women forward. And even players like this, Buehler, a centre-back, adept on the ball and adept at getting forward, like Bagoon. Easy one for O'Sullivan. Follow me the target. Big night for the Welsh defence and for Laura O'Sullivan.
What an important save she made on Thursday evening as well. Early on, but it was good defending from Gemma Evans, and she just got a hold of Folmy. Just tight enough so she wasn't able to get on the end of it.
Foul on Kaylee Green. Caligaris, the guilty party. think Sophie Ingle wanted to take it quickly there, but was stopped in doing so.
I don't think she was actually going to take it early, Simon, if I'm honest. I think she was just trying to get a reaction, knowing that Wales have probably planned for these set pieces. As I said, the Swiss do tend to concede from set pieces. I'm just a little surprised as to why Wales aren't sending Rhiannon Roberts forward. She's one of our most Wales' tallest players. Has an effect in both boxes.
Rachel Rowe, who set up that fishlock goal against Bosnia, drives it into the penalty area, doesn't reach a yellow shirt. Is it back again from Fishlock? Back in it goes from Rachel Rowe towards Jones. Here's Holland up against So. First time ball from James towards Jones. It's still there for Wales. Fishlock can't find a way through, but Wales are getting closer and they have a corner.
Yeah, do you know what they did really well from the free kick there, actually? They didn't send many bodies forward against the long Swiss line, but they wanted to react to win the second ball and maintain possession, which they did. And then obviously that deep cross in by Hannah James just caused problems, the height on it.
We saw this a lot against Bosnia. Well-worked set-piece corners from Anhara James and Fishlock. It's James who takes it. Keeper is struggling. Could fall to Green. Roberts! Yes! How about this? Wales are leading in Zurich, and it's Rhiannon Roberts.
Well, I said, Simon, didn't I, in terms of the Swiss from set pieces, and that's why I wondered why Rhiannon Roberts wasn't further forward from the free kick. Wales reacting to those second balls, taking that chance. This is the first opportunity they've had. The difference between Thursday night being ruthless.
Well, what a sensation in Switzerland. And it all came from Anhara James's corner kick. Green battled hard, and it was Rhiannon Roberts with the finish. And how about this for a scoreline, Gwennan Harris?
Well, credit to Anhara James for that delivery. Really on the money, getting it right under the goalkeeper in an awful area for the goalkeeper to try and react. And then Kaylee Green winning that second ball, and Rhiannon Roberts reacting quickly. The Swiss will be disappointed. Very poor defending on their part. But from a Welsh perspective, reacting to that second ball and being clinical.
It's only her second goal for Wales, Rhiannon Roberts. But my word, it could be the most important goal in the history of the Welsh women's team.
These next 5 minutes obviously crucial now in terms of just switching on. See, they've been concentrating from the very off, but it's the worst time to concede directly after a goal.
Well, you said, Gwennan, Switzerland can be leaky in defence, and the onus is on the team ranked 21st in the world to respond to Wales's goal. And there's a player down here. It was Backman, but here's the goal again, Gwennan.
Yeah, great delivery, as I said, from Rhiannon Roberts. And then Kaylee Green alive to the second ball. Rhiannon Roberts does very well here because I think she wants to take it quickly, knowing that Sina Gocevic is closing it down, but she actually just waits for it to fall a little bit, and then the composure, it's not the best of touches, is it? But from a Welsh perspective, who cares? It's in the back of the net.
Well, has that lit a fire under this Swiss team? And Gemma Granger, who doesn't tend to show much emotion on the sidelines, I think she knows just how important that goal could be. And make no mistake, forget permutations, any sort of win here would be massive for Wales. Not saying it would guarantee a World Cup place, but it gives Wales a huge chance. And here's Carrie Jones. It's given Wales belief as well, this goal. Green. Fishlock among those battling as well. And Switzerland are rattled.
I think Wales just need to maintain their shape now, as they have the discipline. As I said, these times straight after a goal is the worst time to concede when you've just got on top, and that belief. But what will happen is Switzerland, obviously, they're playing in a offensive formation with the 4-3-3 anyway. But it can leave them vulnerable because they're going to have to now push further players forward. You can see, you know, they'll be getting their full-backs. Both full-backs are up, you know, look at the line there as high as the centre forwards. That'll leave gaps for Wales to exploit then down those channels that they've vacated.
Maritz. Wales have got to be careful here. Rachel Rose sticking out a leg. And Switzerland want to take it quickly through Backman. Bueller out towards Aigbagoon. It's a free kick to Wales. Well, how about this, Gwenan? 23 minutes. This could be an agonising night.
Oh, don't start me off now, Simon. Stomach's like a washing machine before the game. I think it's worse now. But let's put this into context as well. You know, the Swiss are a good side. They've reached the last 2 European Championship finals. The last one, albeit through a playoff, but they're experienced.
Fishlock wanted to get on the end of that header from Holland.
You know, they scored in every game in the Euros. Drew with Portugal, they lost then to Sweden and the Netherlands. But they scored in every game. But they did always concede late. In the last quarter of the game, they seemed to concede, and they do pose a threat, obviously, with their players. Sinagocevic, Bachmann, so as well. So you know, we expect the reaction. Momentum of games changes, it ebbs and flows.
Fishlock. Wales had 4 goals disallowed against Bosnia for offside, one of them via VAR. Green has gone down. There was no doubt about that Roberts finish. And at 1-0, the onus is on Switzerland now to push even further forward.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we've just seen here now with the full-backs higher up. As I mentioned that, you know, a minute ago, the space in those wide channels there where we've seen the ball into Kaylee Green. As she always does, she works hard. She got across and held the ball at 1-1, something for Wales.
And Harriet James, I'm sure you can hear the Welsh fans singing in Zurich. Wales looking to double their lead. James, another poor delivery really, if we're honest. Another chance at it. Couldn't find Fishlock. Hayley Ladd. Not one to take risks. Just a reminder, Portugal against Iceland kicked off the same time as this game, 0-0. That could have an effect for Wales later on. But the important scoreline is here in Zurich. Gwenan. What a scoreline. Yeah,
an important play from Hayley Ladd. And we know how horizontal she can be. But you could just see that, you know, taking no risks. And then Kaylee Green, you know, working those channels well. She's so industrious, playing in that centre-forward role. We know she was originally a centre-half, and she's adopted this role so well, brings so much to the team.
Roberts in towards Green. Fishlock and Jones were in there too. Jones just putting off the keeper, Talman there.
That's the one though, Simon, those deliveries from wide areas. Wales will tend to win that first ball well. Don't feel like the Swiss defend those areas.
Header from Rowe. Clearance from Ingle. Green. Rowe looking for Fishlock. How's Caligaris to beat? Ball back towards Holland.
Oh, that was good play from Volti there. That's what she brings to the team. She's such a good player. She just reads the game well. She reads body position. She could see that Fishlock was going to cut back in.
Ramona Backman, a player of such talent. Few step-overs towards So. And Wales quickly back into their defensive formation. Well drilled by Gemma Granger.
You could see those 2 banks of 4, you know, line there, organised, disciplined. Distances between them good. That's what's really important when you're playing, especially the two backs of four, that the distances and the communication between are good. Nice and compact.
Reutler to Caligaris. Euler opted for the short pass towards Romano Bachmann. Bertrand Ingle finds Reutler. This is dangerous for Wales. Gemma Evans has to time her tackle perfectly and read it perfectly.
Well, I mentioned about the way, this is what we were just talking about, Volti, just the experience and the understanding of the game to know that Fishlock was going to, you know, going to turn back, just understanding body positions. But as you mentioned too there, Lucy, defending by Gemma Evans against the dynamic, experienced Srnigocevic. Wales just have to be careful at times. Obviously, the Swiss are pushing so many players forward. At times could be a 4 against 4.
This is one for Jones to chase. Back to Thalmann. Goalkeeper who plays for Real Betis. His 16th club in 4 different countries, as it happens. So plenty of experience in this her 102nd cap as well. It is a team of real international experience, personified by Bachmann. Beautiful pass in towards Folmy. Evans has to stand tall. Wales have got to be careful here. Fishlock gets the foot in, but it's not a convincing clearance. It is pinballing around that penalty area, and thankfully Jones can get it away. But Ramona Bachmann showing her vision and her talent.
Yeah, just picking that position between the two backs of 4, between the defence and the midfield. Needs to be good communication as well from the Welsh centre-halves, Hayley Ladd, Gemma Evans, to the central midfielders, Sophie Ingle and then Hannah James. Just to check the shoulders, just to be aware of that movement, because you cannot allow Bachmann space and to get on the half turn and to thread through passes like she did.
Volti goes for a more direct approach on that occasion. And that will suit Laura O'Sullivan. Well, Kaylee Green is down here. And I'm sure this is something that medical staff will want to sort out sooner rather than later. I mean, we know what Kaylee brings to the table. If ever there was a definition of a 100%er, then she is it.
Yeah, she's so industrious and works those channels really, really well. She doesn't give any defender a second. And she forces a lot of turnovers for Wales as well.
She just pulled up there. Little staff just working on her right calf, as you can see. And what will he be thinking? Niels Nielsen and his Swiss players. We have reached the half-hour mark, and it's Wales who have the lead.
Well, you won't be happy with Simon, obviously. You know, and apart from that shot that came off the post, actually, from Caligaris, troubled Wales so far in the way they would have liked to.
We hope that this is not the last of the evening that we see of Kaylee Green. Does seem to be in some discomfort. And you can see the concern on Gemma Granger's face. There are options on the Welsh bench, but you would have to drag Kaylee Green out of this stadium, I think, to not play the remainder of this game.
Yeah, I'd be surprised not to see her carry on. See, depending on if it's a muscular injury, depends on whether the body allows her to.
Foul on Fishlock, free kick Wales. Volti, sarcastic smile there. Did seem a late challenge on Fishlock. Kaylee Green is back on. I think it's one of those that Gemma Granger will just be keeping a close eye on.
Yeah, certainly another opportunity for Wales here from set piece.
And another one for Rachel Rowe.
I think it was on for Carrie Jones in a 1v1 there.
They work hard on these set pieces from Rachel Rowe. In it goes, over the head of Evans. Could go anywhere. And for the Swiss, it reaches Rhiannon Roberts again. Giving it away. Here's the danger. Here is the danger. Folmy, tremendous tackle from Ladd, and Ingle with an important touch.
I think it was Rhiannon Roberts.
And Ingle away.
That is a superb time tackle from Hayley Ladd. You know, the danger then that was on, the pace that Switzerland have got. Hayley Ladd had to ensure that she timed it. And she did, timed it perfectly.
There's an air of frustration inside the Stadion Letzigrund. And these Swiss supporters, certainly sitting in front of us in the commentary position, they've been very, very quiet. I don't think many would have thought that Wales would come here and score and take the lead.
No, but that's what Wales love. Wales love when they're underestimated, when they're underdogs, and they've got that spirit and belief.
Ingle heading into space to Maritz. Holland leading the chase on Hellman. Important header from Ingle. Fishlock gets a foot in. Helped by Green, away by Maritz. Well, Wales have coped with most things so far. I think Jones might be punished for this. Clearly a foul on Sunagocevic.
I am surprised not to see her brandish with a yellow card there, but she had to do it.
There is Sunagocevic of Barcelona. Maritz. Well, Switzerland frustrated, they can't find a way through, and Rachel Rowe putting the ball out into touch. Fishlock gets a foot in. And away through Carrie Jones. Wales get the free kick through Green. And there's a calmness about this Welsh side so far this evening.
No, they are experienced players. I know, obviously, Wales haven't been in this situation before. But you look along that side, you've got Sophie Ingle, who's played in Olympic Games, played in the Champions League final. Obviously, Jess Fishlock won titles across countless nations. I've lost count, to be honest. You know, and then the Centurions in Angharad James, over 50 caps now for Rhiannon Roberts, Rachel Rowe, Laura O'Sullivan.
Some of the crowd not happy that Rachel Rowe took her time to take that. Header from Green goes out of bounds. And you said it, Gwenan. We've got 10 minutes or so until half-time. I haven't seen too many Swiss chances. I don't want to speak too soon, but Wales are away again. Holland this time. Got Green in the middle. Goes for the cross, wins the corner.
Yeah, this is suiting Wales, obviously. You know, with the Swiss having to push further players forward, it allows for the opportunity to counter-attack. The pace of Kerry Holland, and interesting to see Kaylee Green making that movement towards the front post. She likes to draw to the back post, use her physicality in the air, but maybe something that she's seen with a lot of goals. I can remember a goal England scored against Switzerland at the front post, not defended well, and they've obviously looked at those clips. The Wales will need to just be a little bit careful with the amount of time wasting, because the referee will probably add on a little bit more time on top if they're taking so long so early on in the game.
Well, the assistant referee wants the ball properly in the corner arc. Wales taking their time here. James with the cross. Ingle's header. Evans was in there too. They both went for it.
I think they just caught a little bit under it there, if I'm honest, Simon. It's lofted ball in. Yeah, I think, to be honest, Gemma Evans needed to give a shout there, because she was actually running onto the ball, so it was at a better angle to be able to attack it. Quite hard to generate. You've got a lot of power on those types of crosses when they're lofted in like that. You can't use the pace of the ball. So that's why you needed then the likes of someone like Gemma Evans, who's coming in and attacking it from further out than Ingle, who is standstill.
Niels Nielsen looking on. Switzerland's Danish coach with a concerned face. Rowe, awkward back pass that from Jess Fishlock. Ultimately, it has led to Switzerland gaining back possession. Caligaris, who's already hit the post, to Bühler. Caligaris has spotted the crossfield ball to Bagun. Watched by Roberts. Here's Bachmann. Don't give her too much space. Reutler. Maritz. Wales are going to stop the cross. It's over the head of O'Sullivan. Bagun with a header. No one there to pick it up. And Wales can regroup.
Yeah, that's a really clever pull back, actually, but all the players have gone past the ball. There's no one running onto it from deep. Let off for Wales. There's nobody anywhere near to stop the cross.
Ball to Holland. Green. Is she onside? Well, it caused Kalman enough worry to come way out of the penalty area. Be interesting to see if that passage of play had led to green and whether the flag would have gone up. Saw that a lot in Cardiff against Bosnia.
Yeah, it's something that Kaylee Green really does need to improve on, to be honest, that running across the line before you can run forward as a centre forward. But again, it is down to timing as well from the delivery. Sometimes you can be just making the run, thinking that it's going. You just take a split second longer.
Holme with a heavy touch. Bachmann got options, so among them. Important touch from Ladd. She has made some crucial interceptions already tonight. Bachmann again. Gets round Ingle. Gets round James. Still with Bachmann. Good block. Anna Roberts on that occasion. James. And Roberts taking her time with the clearance. Does really well to fight Green. Holland into James. Green on the charge. Wales on the charge. Well, it's a goal kick, not a corner, but full marks for the counter-attack.
Yeah, James just needed to take a little bit off that then. He was asking quite a lot of Kaylee Green. But promising signs for Wales when they play quickly on that counter-attack. There's so much space to exploit, as we've seen. And the confidence here to go with a full press, like forcing Switzerland long. Confident that they can win that first ball and second ball, which they've seen now with Thalmann. Not able to find any players. This has been an absolutely superb first 40 minutes for Wales. They just, I obviously said about the 5 minutes after the goal, but right after half-time would be a catastrophe to concede then. So they're just going to keep the ball now. When it comes to them, just bring other players into play.
Here's Maritz, worth pointing out to viewers that this scoreline wouldn't be enough to take Wales directly into the World Cup final. It would be the Inter-Confederation playoffs, and a lesser-ranked team they'll face in a one-off game. Let's get the win first. Good lag from Roberts. Wales can't afford to think about the future just yet, with players like Ramona Bachmann around.
Well, she had to time that well. Anna Roberts, obviously, well, just creeped into the penalty area.
Second corner for Switzerland compared to Wales's one. They're all waiting in and around that penalty spot. So with the header, O'Sullivan grabs it and clasps onto it.
I personally never understand, and the Swiss defender saying, as Wales did there, why you always leave. You know, it's more of a zonal mark. You've got some players man marking and the rest covering those front, middle, and then the back post. But you leave yourself open to people running onto the ball, and physically, unless you've got a leap like Michael Jordan, you're not able to compete then with somebody that's running onto the ball. It baffles me why teams tend to defend it, set pieces in that way.
Rachel Rowe with the throw. So Wales to get a second. There is the possibility that they could qualify tonight. All depends on events elsewhere. Penalty wins for either Portugal or Scotland. Rachel Rowe. Could go for the long one here. Option, I guess, is Kaylee Green. You can see just in the corner of the area, Carrie Jones just coming into shot. As you can see at the left-hand side of your screen. Cleared away. Wales have another one, and it's just about slowing the game down, getting to half-time. 1-0 is a dream to go in at half-time.
Oh, yeah. Wales will be so happy to have got that goal, and it's just about game management now. Good, and that was actually good play from Rachel Rowe then. All the Swiss midfielders were pushing forward, expecting that ball across, ready to pounce and to press. Just taking that pressure away from herself and turning back and go down the line.
Evans' header. The Swiss bench to get the ball back in play immediately as Maritz just goes for the long approach. Reutler. Here's Volti. Away goes Bühler. Bagoon. Again, Wales working hard to get back. As a defensive midfield, 4, a defensive line of 4. Is Switzerland looking to get in on behind that line now. Bachmann. So, and they have to go back. They cannot find a way forward at the moment.
Yeah, the spaces between the units and the players from Wales is really good, and then you've just seen like the likes of Jess Fishlock dropping back in to help. Kaylee Green pressing from the front as well, maintaining that pressure.
Bagoon is free. And the interception from Rhiannon Roberts this time. Bühler. Switzerland looking to finish the half with a flurry here. Bagoon. Bühler. It's the centre-back crossing this time, could go anywhere. Maritz, watched by Jones. Reutler. Wales have got to work hard. Oh, Maritz is free. 1-1. Bachmann. And Switzerland have found a way through. Oh, Wales couldn't reach half-time. 1-0 up. And Switzerland are back in it.
Yeah, Wales will be so disappointed with the manner of the way they conceded that goal. I talked about the timing, and I talked about the distances between the defence being so good. 30 seconds later, Rachel Rowe's being dragged out there. Carrie Jones has to follow the player there. You've seen your full-back go further forward, and then somebody has to step out of the defensive line, or Sophie Ingle needs to be closer across the line to Hannah James. You cannot allow anybody, but especially a player of Bachmann's quality, to have that time. And I could see from my position that she was in that position for a good few seconds, but you tend to see when you concede a goal, it's not just from one poor bit of play, it's from 3 or 4, and you could see that in the build-up with poor defending from certain individuals.
Wales have got to be careful it doesn't get worse here. Switzerland have a spring in their step. Over the head of So, put behind by Ladd. It's a corner in additional time in this first half. Wales know that they can score, and they'll have to do it again to stand any chance of qualification. Corner to that back post, and it was Bühler. Rose above the Welsh defence.
That's a great finish here from Bachmann. Take nothing away from the quality there. You talk about goalkeepers shouldn't be beaten at the front post, but the pace, the power on that finish. But Wales, as I said, were so frustrated. They don't tend to get played through quite often, like you've seen there with players dragged so far out positions. And just clever play from Černogočević just to drag Rachel Rowe out position to create space for Maritz on the overlap.
Jones. Well, the team talk at half-time will be completely different now from Gemma Granger. I suppose the message is similar in the sense that Wales have to score against the Swiss. They've done it once, can they do it again?
Oh, they can certainly do it again. I wouldn't say the Swiss have been the strongest defensively, but as we know, the threats and the attacks they have up front.
Switzerland are back in this, but they haven't had it all their way. Wales took the lead through Rhiannon Roberts. What a moment that was. But they've got to dig deep now, Gwenan, because that strike from Ramona Bachmann, as good as it was, has put the home side back in this.
Yeah, it's the timing of the goal, Simon, that's the most frustrating. You know, right before half-time when you're so happy going in, but they'll have to regroup. You know, they're still more than in it. It was 1-1.
Well, Gemma Granger, I'm sure, would have taken this scoreline if you'd given it to her at the start of the game, because at half-time it is Switzerland 1, Wales 1. A night of high drama is in store. That seems to be the Welsh way. A shot from distance. Well, O'Sullivan just did enough, I think. It's James who takes it. Keeper is struggling. Could fall to Green. Roberts! Yes! How about this? Wales are leading in Zurich. And it's Rhiannon Roberts.
Also being the needs to be closer across.
Yeah, that's the goal that has broken Welsh hearts in the last few minutes. Bachmann scoring. We mentioned her before the match. She's the danger woman. But it is 1-1. And, Katie, before the match, we would have taken that kind of scoreline, wouldn't we? But we sat here disappointed, actually.
Yeah, it was a really positive first half from Wales. You know, take away the goal at the end. They were looking really compact in defence. They were really limiting the space that Switzerland had to play. The units were working really well together. We got a goal, but yeah, just that little lack of fatigue, little lack of communication at the end, allowing them to get back into the game.
Yeah, there was a feeling that the Swiss were growing into it. There was pressure coming as that first half carried on.
Yeah, I think the game plan has been superb from a Welsh point of view. We knew it was going to be a different game to Thursday where we dominate possession. It's been the opposite tonight. Switzerland have had a lot of the ball, but I think the way we've contained them defensively, in particular that kind of midfield area where you push Switzerland wide when they've tried to go through central areas. I think the likes of Anne Harrod and Sophie Ingle have done a fantastic job. Disappointing, obviously, to concede the goal just before half-time. That's when you really got to be focused and you get in at 1-0. But, you know, Bachmann, what a finish, you have to say. You know, we've contained her really well. We haven't really seen too much of her in that first half, but that one occasion where Carrie Jones just switches off in that wide area, fantastic pullback. And look, she's still got a lot to do with the finish. You have to give her a lot of credit. But I've been really impressed with Wales and how they've kind of gone about that first half in terms of the defensive side. We want to see them a little bit more on the ball when they win the ball back. But it's been difficult. But, you know, I think getting our nose in front and not getting to half-time, a little bit disappointing.
Well, let's have a look at the goal then, because Rhiannon Roberts' second international goal. It's a lovely cross-in.
Yeah, and we talked about in pre-match, didn't we, about that delivery, how important it is, because we're not going to get lots of opportunities sitting in that low block. But the delivery in by Anne Harrod-James is fantastic, and the way she stays composed in front of goal there just to poke it round the corner, but keeping the ball alive there by Kayleigh Green and just being first to the ball, and we got our rewards.
Yeah, it's not a classic, but as you said, composure. Yeah. She takes her time, it's important.
Yeah, we're watching the game there, we're all saying to Rihanna, swing your leg, but she you know, she just takes that extra kind of second, which opens up the chance a bit more. And it's a really clever finish, but you know, I think as Katie said, the importance of set pieces, delivery, quality delivery in the box, giving players something to attack. We make it difficult for Switzerland to clear the 18-yard box. We pick up the second ball. Kayleigh Green does a good job of keeping the ball alive and a really composed finish there from a defender on the far post.
Let's have a look then at the Swiss goal, and Wales will be disappointed with the defence here.
Yeah, I think, you know, as I said, I think in the first half we contained Switzerland really well. We haven't seen the Swiss get in behind on too many occasions. And look, it's a fantastic bit of play, but you're looking at maybe Carrie Jones there just switching off. You know, she's had to do a lot of kind of defending in that first half and maybe a little bit of fatigue towards the end of the first half there. Switches off, excellent kind of pull back from Moritz there, and that's the person you don't want to see in that position, Ramona Bachmann. Like I say, still got a lot to do with the finish, but really clinical and a dagger blow, really, because I thought we contained Switzerland on the most part really well.
Yeah, the timing's so disappointing. They can't let their heads drop now. Well, as we've already mentioned, these playoffs, they are very, very complicated. But what we know needs to happen this evening is that Wales win this game, and they're very much still in it. But if they do win, well, what happens next? I'm going to let Laura explain this one.
For Wales to make it to New Zealand and Australia next year, listen up, it's a little complicated. The 3 best runners-up from the groups in qualifying were seeded and will now face the 3 winners from last Thursday's semi-finals in the playoff finals this evening. They are again one-off ties with extra time and penalties if needed. We'll then be left with 3 winning nations who'll be ranked on their performances in qualifying and in tonight's playoff finals. The top 2 nations will go through to the World Cup. The 3rd team, though, will have to go to the Inter-Confederation playoffs in Australia and New Zealand, along with 9 other countries for the final 3 places at the tournament. If Wales end up in this competition at the turn of the year, well, they'll be top seeds and will only have to play 1 more match to reach the World Cup. But there is a scenario where Gemma Granger's side could clinch a first ever place at a major tournament with victory in the playoff final. Wales will go through with a win in Switzerland if it's by at least a 2-goal margin, and either Portugal or Scotland also win a playoff final, but do so via a penalty shootout. Simple as that. Well, it's half-time here in Zurich, where the scoreline is Switzerland 1, Wales 1. It's on a knife edge, and I'm joined by the FAW's head of women's football, Lowry Roberts. Lowry, wow, how are you feeling?
Well, we always knew tonight was going to come down to fine margins, and as Gemma has reminded us from the start, trust the process and trust the game plan. We had to be patient on Thursday night, and we might have to be patient again tonight.
This campaign is history-making, regardless of the result here tonight. A hero send-off at the Vale on the way out here. How much does that mean to everyone?
Look, we're part of an incredible staff group here and a playing squad as well. And 18 months ago, when Gemma came in, we started this journey and we doubled our investment into the women's national team programme. And look at the impact that that investment has. You invest in the women's game and look at the impact. Look at the growth in participation, 50% increase in the last 4 years. And you look at the attendance record, 15,000 in Cardiff City was just incredible.
You mentioned that attendance record. It was pretty phenomenal. And in the context of, 6,000 fans here tonight, does that hit home then, just how remarkable it is?
Yeah, certainly, because you look at the Swiss and you look at an established team, an established nation, they've qualified for major tournaments in the past. We've never done that, so to grow our fan base at the rapid speed and the pace that we have done so, it's all to do with the staff group being completely together, stronger in all of this, and the players buying into and trusting what we as an FAW and what our media and broadcast partners want to do to elevate the game.
What a significant moment in time we are witnessing for women's football in general at the moment. So how important is it, therefore, to maintain that momentum?
Well, there's never been a better platform for us to be asking for additional investment, commercial partnerships, more media coverage. And what we need to ensure that we do, that as the game grows, thousands more girls coming into the game, we have to ensure that the structures are there for them to play within, but also the facilities are fit for purpose and these young girls have got somewhere to play.
And we're seeing the fruition of that on the pitch, aren't we?
Yeah, absolutely. We're really excited for the future as well with our youth teams and our Girls Academy programme, that we believe that we're setting up for sustained success, not just a one-off campaign.
Well, Lowry, thank you so much. Strap yourself in for the second half.
Oh, they look nervous, don't they? We are nervous here in studio as well. Well, as we know, Wales women are aiming for their first ever major tournament. And the men, after next month, well, they will be concentrating on trying to get to the Euros for a 3rd consecutive time. And on Sunday in Frankfurt, the draw was made for Wales. And this is their group, Group D: Armenia, Croatia, Latvia, Turkey and Wales. And those are the dates for you as well. It's a trip to Croatia first off, the top seeds in the group, and then we finish off on the 21st of November against Turkey. And Rob Page said after the draw that he was pretty happy with that one. And Danny, it's not bad. It could have been much, much worse.
Well, it could have been. I look back to when I was a player and we never got groups like that. Trust me. You get to the last 3 or 4 games of the group and it was a bit of a non-event, really. We'd have no chance of qualifying. But I think the success that the team has had over recent years. Obviously, we've improved our kind of seeding. It's given us more kind of favourable groups now, and we've been able to take advantage of that and qualify for major tournaments. So you look at that group, yes, Turkey, Croatia, we've played them in the past. They're good sides, so it's not going to be easy, but it gives us a fantastic chance again of qualifying for another major tournament, which we all want to see.
One thing wrong with that group, there's no Belgium.
Thank God. I was getting bored of that, honestly. So,
we want to go and see different places. Croatia, the first game, the top seeds in the group, as I mentioned. Is that a good first game? Would you rather get that one out the way away?
I think you'd rather see it at the beginning of the campaign rather than seeing it at the end of the campaign where you've got to go with it and get a result, and that's riding on if you qualify or not. So to qualify for any major tournament, you have to beat the best. And I think this team, the men and the women's Cymru teams, they now have this belief where they can go anywhere and get a result. So I think what a way to start the campaign against the top seed, and they'll be really motivated to get a result away from home.
And when you look at what some of the home nations have got as well, I'm thinking England, Italy, that's an interesting one for obvious reasons. You've got Scotland with Spain as well. So actually, they might be thinking that they would rather be in our shoes.
Quite possibly, but I think, as Katie said, it's so difficult to kind of qualify for a major tournament. The qualifying process is long. Obviously, injuries and things like that play a part. So, no game is easy. Even the lesser teams now are all getting better technically and stuff, and provide very difficult kind of opposition. So you have to be absolutely spot on. But getting off to a good start is really important. The first 3 or 4 games of the group, so important. If you can get off to a good start, get points on the board, then it really does hold you in good stead. We're
thinking of that second place, maybe even top place in that group. But with Wales this evening, we've touched upon it. It is so complicated for the women. We are sat here tonight and we can't tell the audiences home exactly what's going to happen and how many games maybe Wales will have to play if they win this evening. We know they have to get a win tonight, but we might have to play another game in February in New Zealand. This playoff system, is a very tough one.
It is, and it's really difficult because at the moment we're thinking we've got to win this game and then we're through to the next game. So tonight is a playoff final, but it almost doesn't feel like that because we know if results don't go our way and we still win, we have to go and play another game. So it is a really difficult process, but it's what we've been dealt. We have to, get on with it. But yeah, I don't think we would see this in the men's game, and I just think it's harsh.
We've got, an opportunity to watch that Wales goal again. Are you confident, Danny, that Wales can do something similar in the second half? Have they got that second goal in them? Yeah,
I don't see why not. I don't think the game plan from Gem and the team will change too much. Yes, second half they have to reset. Don't let the disappointment of equalising just before half-time affect the game. I don't expect Wales to go chasing the game now, trying to get a second goal. I think the game plan will stay the same. And it's all about, staying diligent defensively, keeping that focus, keeping that discipline. And then with the limited chances we're probably going to get because of the way we're playing, we have to be clinical like we were in that first half.
What do you think that changing room is like right now? Because it would have been a quite excitable one if they were 1-0 up. But to lose or to concede that goal just before half-time, it is very difficult not to let your heads drop after that.
Yeah, you've got to get back up. It's 45 minutes of a major game. We talked about how huge this game is. It's 45 minutes. We're not losing the game. We're still in the game. We have to keep compact. We have to keep doing what we do well. But when we win the ball back, we have to do better with the ball. We can't just be lobbing the ball forward because that's going to keep Kaylee Green really isolated. Give her the ball. She will hold the ball up. She will draw in a foul. We just have to be cleverer with the ball.
We mentioned a few things before kick-off. Wales in possession, Wales with their crosses. Have you seen improvement?
I don't think we've been able to do that too much. Like I say, the game tonight is very different from the game on Thursday. We haven't seen too much of the ball. I think what you did see from our defensive shape was Switzerland getting a little bit frustrated, giving the ball away themselves. So can we be a little bit better on the transition? I think Katie makes a great point in terms of when we do win the ball back, getting the ball into Kaylee Green. She's able to hold it. She's been able to draw fouls. She can then bring other players into the game. We probably haven't seen that enough. I think we can be a little bit braver on the ball in tight areas. We're probably going to need to do that a little bit better second half if we're going to go on and win the game.
Bench, we always mention it, don't we? Because Gemma Granger, she doesn't tend to go there, but has she got many options?
I think we've seen Fionn Morgan, the impact that she's had, the impact she had on Thursday, and her pace, that'll really stretch Switzerland. And if we do become more direct, then she's going to make them retreat more into their own half. So I think she is definitely a card that she will look to play.
Well, we're waiting for Switzerland to come back out to the pitch. They're just coming out, actually. A chance to remind you that there are 2 other playoff finals happening this evening. Portugal against Iceland, that is half-time as well. It's 0-0 there. And then Scotland take on the Republic of Ireland at 8 o'clock. Both results could impact Wales, but we do need a win here this evening. So let's go back to our commentary team. Another huge 45 minutes ahead. Can they get the lead? Back we go to Gwennan Harris and Simon Davis.
Thank you, Kat, and thank you to Danny and Katie as well. Well, I hope you're not deflated after that Swiss goal watching at home, because there are plenty of positives that Gemma Granger will have taken from that first half, Gwennan, not least the fact that they scored.
Certainly, but Wales will have to weather the storm now. Obviously, with the timing of the goal, Swiss's backs are right up, so obviously they're going to come out all guns blazing. Wales just need to weather that storm first 5-10 minutes and build themselves back into it.
There has to be a winner this evening. This is knockout football, and if it stays like this, there could be extra time and penalties as well. Gemma Granger will have had to have scrapped the initial team talk that she had at half-time, I'm sure, after Wales were 1-0 up. They've got to be careful that Swiss players don't get forward early here. Jones with the foot in. Folmley away by Ladd, up to Green.
You can see what Kaylee Green's trying to do there, but just the distance between herself and Caligaris was just a little bit too big. Actually, sorry, I think it was Bueller. Was just a little bit too big. If you're going to try and spin someone first time, you have to be touch tight. You could see there was half a metre between them, and obviously, you know, that's why she couldn't use her body to actually turn. And Wales, as we've already mentioned, they just need to ensure that they hold that ball up just to give themselves a break. You see Wales dropping too deep too early because of them being forced into wave upon wave of Swiss attack.
Ball over the top for Folmley. Tries it alone. Couldn't beat O'Sullivan on a near post. Did have options in the middle. Folmley.
Yeah, she's been quiet as well. And this evening we've just seen Gemma Evans pulled across by the clever movement from Sinagocevic again, and then there's so much space. Hayley Ladd's trying to cover that space, that gap that Gemma Evans has vacated.
Looks like the nearest Welsh player to the corner. Backman to take for Switzerland. Over the head of Sinagocevic, and the header goes wide. Good battling from Green. Wins the goal kick off Caligaris. There were a few concerns in the first half. Kelly Green's fitness, she did go down. It seemed like just a twinge, not really much of a serious muscle injury. O'Sullivan with a goal kick.
Yeah, and you see how high the Swiss are as well. To force the Laura O'Sullivan, who's got to do better there, give him a chance of good play. It's been a good battle actually between Fishlock and Valti. Experience, both very technical, good players, understand the game.
James trying to find the continuing run of Fishlock. Back to Tallman, Swiss goalkeeper of Real Betis. Caligaris to Marit, who set up that goal for Backman. The only time really in that first half that Wales were out of position defensively.
Yeah, I feel like I jinxed them actually, Simon, because I just was praising them on the distances between each other and the units, and then there was a huge gap appear, and Carrie Jones just caught ball watching. Inexperience showing.
Rowe tries the crossfield ball to Holland. Here's So. Ike Bagoon. So, who scored 9 goals during qualifying, up against Roberts here, who's working hard to get back. Hayley Ladd clears away.
So I'd just like to see Rhiannon Roberts check the run then of So. Obviously, So's got on the ball, got herself in a good position, used the body between the ball and Rhiannon Roberts. But then you know that she's wanting to bounce it off, so just use your body better.
Backman. And it's Roberts who's trying to intercept. She had to be careful there. And news that Iceland have scored against Portugal doesn't really help Wales's cause either. It's all about doing the business here tonight. And Rachel Rowe clearing it away.
From this angle, Simon, it actually looked like if Bachmann had gone down there, and I think she may have awarded penalties. As we said, from this angle, it looked like she dived in, nowhere near the ball.
And I think Roberts knew that once she had dived in. But no harm done, as the ball will go back to that Swiss defence, and Caligaris again, who hit the post in the first half.
We already mentioned, I mean, they're experienced, the Swiss. They've been in this position before. They qualified for the 2017 Euros after a 2-2 draw with Czech Republic. They went through on penalties.
Really loud with another really important interception. Important to point out just how outstanding they've been. Ladd and Evans, ball in the middle. Sinagocevic. Well, Rowe did enough to put her off, but her aerial ability is well known. This was the challenge on Bachmann from Roberts.
Yeah, she dives in here, and then you could just see that, you know, the composure of Bachmann, and then she dives in again. Well,
and you could see Roberts' gesture, almost saying, "My bad, I almost got it wrong there."
well, most defenders, you know, you only really want to go to ground at the very last minute. You shouldn't be needing to go to the ground often as a defender.
Good play from Reutler. And it's Bagoon getting forward from left back. Bachmann. And you're on the edge of your seat whenever Ramona Bachmann gets that ball. As we saw, as Danny and Katie were saying in studio, the quality of the finish. Cannot argue against. Good ball into O'Sullivan with another confident catch.
No, and Wales are aware of that, you know, player of her calibre, top teams that she's played for. She's really quiet for about 35 minutes, and obviously great finish with the goal. Movement to pull off. And then obviously the finish, and she started the second half full of confidence. And Wales will want to try and stifle that threat. Don't allow her the spaces. You know, she's got the licence to roam because she can create from anywhere. Wales need to get tighter when they can. Obviously, you can't afford to dive in then, as mentioned with Rhiannon Roberts, but allow her the spaces between the lines.
And just to tell our viewers, that goal that Iceland thought they'd scored against Portugal has in fact been disallowed. So it is still goalless in that other playoff final. Ball over the top of Evans. Well read by O'Sullivan. It was a decent ball, in fact, for Folmley to chase onto. So O'Sullivan had to be quick off her mark.
Yeah, she's been quiet so far, Folmley, hasn't she? But plays between the centre defenders well.
Green chasing down Bueller. The Talman. Caligaris. Well, the tempo of the game has dropped, and it's evenly poised. For those just joining us late, it was Wales who took an early lead before that Bachmann equaliser just before half-time. James, quick ball to Green. There are spaces for James to run into here. James into Fishlock. Had made a surging run into the box. And here comes the counter-attack. And we'll get the view of Katie Sherwood in just a moment. But this is dangerous for Wales. It's Bachmann. Bagoon. In towards Sinagocevic. And Wales, well, anywhere will do for Rachel Rowe. And the attack is on here. Well, Holland was the target. It goes back to the goalkeeper, Talman. Let's bring in the thoughts of Katie Sherwood. And Katie, the Swiss pushing forward even more, it seems. in this second half.
Yeah, Simon, they're really growing into the game, aren't they? They're moving the ball with a lot more pace, switching the ball, switching play, and they're just trying to move Wales from side to side and open those gaps so they can feed those balls into Bachmann. And when Bachmann gets the ball into the box, he's almost unplayable.
Well, Katie, I'll interrupt you here because there is a VAR call against Rachel Rowe, and this could be a huge moment for Wales. They took their time referring this upstairs, and Wales will watch anxiously here.
Yeah, I did think originally, if I was honest, it seemed like it flicked off Rachel Rowe's hand. It's whether now they think that her arm is in a natural position. It was quite clear, you know, obviously it's flicked off her hand, and you could see actually the reaction of the Swiss players.
This is a huge moment, and the Swedish referee is taking a long look at the video screen. Here we go. What's the decision? Penalty. Oh. Given by VAR, and it could be so costly for Wales. Rachel Rowe even booked for it. And Wales' only hope now will be Laura O'Sullivan.
Well, look, Laura O'Sullivan actually has a good history with penalties. She saved, I remember she saved the Bosnia away a couple of years back. I'm sure she saved a penalty against Belarus as well. Experience is what the Swiss, they've got so many experienced players, and I think it's, yeah, Sinagocevic just picking it up. And, you know, someone's got 70 goals for their country.
In 140 caps.
That's an unbelievable record.
It's a tally of 1 in 2. Huge moment this for Wales, and in the career of goalkeeper Laura O'Sullivan. Up against Sinagocevic of Barcelona. The referee just stopping players from encroaching the penalty area here. But Switzerland have a chance to go 2-1 up. Swedish referee having a word with Sophie Ingle, who is saying, I'm clearly beyond the 18-yard line. And they have to be outside of the D as well. So there is a delay to this penalty. That perhaps puts even more pressure on Laura O'Sullivan.
No, actually, I think it's the opposite. I think it puts more pressure on Sinagocevic. She's the one that's expected to score.
Here we go. The Barcelona forward, Anna Maria Sinagocevic against Laura O'Sullivan. There is so much at stake, so much on this spot kick. Hold your breath, Welsh fans. Sinagocevic from the penalty spot. Hits the post, has another chance. It's 2-1. Took the chance well on the second attempt. And just for one moment, you thought that Wales were still level in this game. Well, the celebrations are premature. It's going to be retaken. Well, what drama here in Zurich?
Oh, wow.
In fact, the decision has gone the other way. Well, it's an offside decision on the second attempt. Of course, when the ball hits the post, under the rules, it means that no one else has hit it, and it's play on. It's 1-1. Well, astonishing stuff going on.
Yeah, the drama of it all, unbelievable. But actually, it's about time that Wales got the rub of the green in big games. I remember back to England in the World Cup qualifying for 2019 World Cup, wasn't it, goal? Had definite penalties not given against us, against Wales in big games against Norway.
Well, it's still 1-1, incredibly, in this game. And it's gone out for a corner off Bagoon. And no indication that there'll be a VAR check further for the offside off the
there's no
penalty
touch
kick.
either, is there, from Laura O'Sullivan. What Wales have to ensure that they do is take the momentum from that, take the confidence out of this now, build upon it, because it's been all Switzerland so far.
Of course, if it hits the post, I thought that it may have taken a deflection, but what that means is that technically she took 2 touches, because if it hits the post and comes back to her, then it's down as 2 touches. But the important thing is it's 1-1 here.
Yeah, and as I said, Wales really need to use, you know, the stroke of luck in a sense from that, in confidence from it, and try and get themselves further up now and get hold of the ball. They've barely seen the ball, they've barely touched the ball in this second half. You can't expect to go through without having passages of play.
Swiss corner, and O'Sullivan catches again with confidence. You just wonder how dispiriting that will be to the Swiss team. Well, we thought that it would be a dramatic night. And it's a ball over the top to Green. And ball with Holland. And Switzerland forced back here. We'll get the views of Danny Gabardon in just a moment, who has his view on what happened. But it's straightforward under the rules, really. If hits the post, comes back to the same player who hit it, then technically it goes down as 2 touches from the penalty kick. But ball through the middle. Switzerland have much more of attacking intention going on here. Cross into the middle towards So, and away from James. Ball back to Carrie Jones. Ball still in play. Switzerland play it to Holme, goes out for a corner kick. And this could be dangerous again for Wales.
Good. Quickly.
It's Holme. The option of Bachmann in front of her. It's a decent cross over the head of So. They may go all the way out here. Good tackle from Green, corner kick.
No, you've seen a defensive capabilities there, as we already mentioned, alluded to. She started off as a centre-half, and the timing, athleticism within the challenge from Kaylee Green, exceptional.
Quickly taking corner. Holme. Back to Bachmann. Back post couldn't find So. Well, let's bring in Danny Gabardon to see if this Switzerland chance will go. Let's bring in Danny Gabardon. Danny, you've got your own view on what happened there.
Yeah, it might not be exactly correct either side,
but in just a moment. Ball in towards Reutler. We did hear the voice of Danny Gabardon. Let's hear from him again. Danny, your view on what happened?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, Simon, I don't think the penalty taker could put the ball back in on the rebound, because obviously the ball's come back off the post. I think a different Swiss player would then have to put the ball back in the net for the goal to stand. But irrespective of that, I actually didn't think it was a penalty. I don't think Rachel Rowe did too much wrong there. I thought her hand was actually in a natural position. It's exactly what you would do if you're going for a header. So I think a little bit of a let-off for Wales, but I think the luck that we deserved, because for me, wasn't a penalty.
Thank you, Danny. Yeah, it goes down as 2 touches then, as the ball goes into that Welsh penalty area towards Sunagocevic. He's waiting in the middle with Folme here. O'Sullivan gets a well, she got a glove on it. Always backpedaling, and it was that player Bachmann once more.
Yeah, she's popping up everywhere, Bachmann. But Wales players at times, they're either diving in too early in those one-on-one situations, or they're not tight enough. You see Rachel Rowe there, she needs to get tighter, stop that cross. But look, Wales have got to get a hold of the ball and get a grip in this game. You cannot sustain all these attacks in terms of defensively. And as we've mentioned, you know, it's been 18 minutes now. Wales can't only recall once going in the Swiss half. Yes, it's about maintaining shape. Yes, it's about maintaining shape and, you know, and being hard to break down, obviously hit on the counter-attack. But it's a one-off game as well at the same time. You have to get more bodies forward.
And it's 1-1 between Portugal and Iceland in one of the other playoff finals being played tonight. as things stand, this game could well be going into extra time or penalties if needed. It has been all Switzerland in this second half so far, and Laura O'Sullivan has been far busier in this period than she has in the first. What a worrying sight that is. Jess Fishlock trudging off the pitch here.
I'd be really surprised to see her not come back on, but to give context in terms of the World Cup, you know, there's been expansion this year. Well, next year's World Cup from 24 teams to 32, so the 9 group winners have obviously gone through, and then 2 or possibly 3 runners-up, with that draw taking place for the pools across the 9 locations across Australia and New Zealand. 22nd of October. Wales would just love to make history and be there for the very first time.
Barrett's with the throw to Caligaris. Good touch from Rowe. Well, Catherine said to both Katie and Danny in that first half, pointed out that Gemma Granger isn't known for making substitutes during the 90 minutes. So I think she was prompted into that against Bosnia because it went into extra time.
No, but I think particularly if the game is staying like this, you have to change things up. You're going to have to mix it up. Wales need to try and get a foothold in the game.
Bueller. Towards Backman. Taking on Holland. Ladd with the touch again. James looking for the run of Green. It's Green up against Bueller. All on her own though.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the closest player to her is about 30 yards away. She needs more support. Wales have to get up quicker. But Hayley Ladd again, just in 1v1 defending position. So good, so tight. Trying to get a leg round if she can to win the ball, or otherwise just putting pressure on, forcing mistakes.
Ball forward towards So. James, Roberts. Green offside.
Ball went up.
There does seem to be a bit of activity on the Welsh bench. Gemma Granger, as you can see at the bottom of your screen, just glancing back to her dugout. Could we see the introduction of Fionn Morgan again, like we did against Bosnia? Scored that goal that wasn't. Disallowed by VAR. Guilty. Lost it. Jones up towards Green. James the only support. Green just tried to create space for herself, but ran into trouble. Here's So. Back to Roberts. Closed down by So. And free for O'Sullivan to pick up.
Yeah, that's the problem when, you know, Wales are so deep and they're playing with that lone forward. As I mentioned in the first half, they can become isolated, and we've seen Angharad James busting the gut to get forward and support those runs. How quickly were the Swiss around 3 players crowding her out, crowding Kaylee Green out. To play quicker with the ball then.
First time from James towards Green. Concedes the goal kick, and that will prompt the change. And what will Fionn Morgan bring to this Wales team?
Pace and pace in abundance. We've seen how quick she was. When she came on Thursday evening, we all thought she'd scored the winner. Obviously disallowed for offside. Carrie Jones has actually been quite quiet this evening. She hasn't been able to impose herself on the game, but that's more due to the game plan from Wales, is sitting deep. It does look like it could possibly be a change of shape, actually. Give it a minute to settle down just to see. I do honestly think Wales might be changing to a 4-3-3. Probably will revert back to 4-5-1 when defending, but...
I think we were all impressed with the nature of her finish. I know it was disallowed in the end, but it was fine side-footed volley against Bosnia.
Yeah, no, I was wrong with that. I think she just pushed forward for the free kick or the set piece. She's slotted in like for like where Carrie Jones was on that left-hand side. But her pace, she'd be looking to get forward and support Kaylee Green as quickly as possible. And I'm sure that'll be a real outball for Wales now, especially, as we said, with the high positions that the Swiss fullbacks are taking. And that's a really sloppy error, actually, and absolutely no pressure at all from Caligaris. And it's frustrating as a player, especially as a forward player, when defenders just making mistakes under no pressure like that.
Rowe, flicked on by Green. Harry Holland, the furthest Welsh player forward, is Vulty. He will be known to WSL fans. Bueller, Ike Bagoon, those fullbacks inching forward. Wales have really been under the cosh in this second half. We perhaps anticipated that anyway, even if they had gone in 1-0 up. That's a lovely pass into Folmy. So in the middle, great tackle. Pure class from Gemma Evans.
Oh, exceptional timing on that tackle again, but it's not the first time that Folmy has managed to get in between both centre-halves.
"20 minutes to go, still 1-1. If you'd said that to Gemma Granger and the Welsh squad at the start of the evening, they probably would have taken it, but they have to be more adventurous, perhaps, because that's what Switzerland certainly are. Like Bagoon. And the tackle is an important one. It is a corner. And Kerry Holland helping out those at the back. This was Evans' tackle, by the way.
Yeah, great timing on that tackle. But Wales are the masters of their own downfall in a certain aspect, in terms of every time they get possession, they're really sloppy with it. They have to be better in possession. We see Rachel Rowe then with a pass, a flick with the outside of the foot, just creating more pressure.
O'Sullivan comes for it. And there was a whistle gone anyway. But brave goalkeeping from Laura O'Sullivan.
I think the Swiss are about to make a change as well. And if my eyesight's good, she's quite far away from here. I think it's Jamili from Freiburg, and she's a really good youngster, forward player.
Gemma Evans just seeing if Laura O'Sullivan's okay. Harry Holland as well went down during that set piece. Let's bring in Danny Gavin on, because I know you've got a question for him, Gwenan.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Danny, with when you're playing up against forwards and when you're playing in a back four like that, forward that's running between you or playing in the middle of you, how hard is that to defend against? And what can you do to try and rectify?
Very good question. I think it is a difficult one. It is where you see a lot of kind of attacking players playing these days, Gwenan, and it does pose a lot of kind of problems for you as a central midfielder or a central defender. So that kind of communication, I think, is key between the units. It really is a difficult one to try and manage, and certainly second half we haven't been as good at doing it. I think we've seen the Swiss kind of get in behind a lot more second half. We've seen, again, when we've won the ball back, we've had limited kind of options. We've probably tried to play forward a little bit too quickly. So I think you just got to try and keep those units tight, Gwen, and I think you have to be brave. As a back four, you have to try and push up and keep those spaces really tight. Can you pass the players on at times to the likes of Sophie and Anne Howard in front? Communication is a big thing, but I think bravery as well. When players are going into those areas, don't be scared sometimes as a centre back to actually go in there as well and try and make things difficult.
O'Sullivan back on her feet. Thank you, Danny, by the way. And Kerry Holland waiting to re-enter play. O'Sullivan with a risky kick. She's got back into position, but Bachmann is free. Cross towards that back post looking for Sunagocevic. Rachel Rowe has spotted the run of Thea Morgan, and this is the pace that Gwenan Harris was talking about. She is lightning quick. Morgan. Players waiting in the middle and couldn't get the cross in, but that is what you want to see from Fia Morgan.
Oh, she's electric, Simon. You can see that. Just the first touch Took it straight past. I think it was Caligaris that was coming across to cover. But then there's one problem when you've got someone so quick, is trying to keep up with those players. You could see Fishlock, Green, Kerry Holland busting to get into the box. And Fish actually checked their run to allow them time to get back. His quality on the delivery then.
Backman got the ball caught under her feet. Green is released. Holland looking for the return pass. She has it from James. And you could see Kerry Holland was one of those who ran her heart out against Bosnia. And that will be a factor as well, I'm sure, as this game progresses. And here comes a change. Gwenan, it's Riola Jamaili coming on. Plays for Freiburg. And Kumbaso, despite all the goals that she scored during qualifying, I've seen an awful lot of her tonight. Kumbaso.
No, she has been quiet. You know, 9 goals in qualifying. Her and Sina Gocevic, the top goal scorers, actually 9 goals apiece. So Wales have done well to keep her quiet. She'll be disappointed. But when you have a good youngster in Jamili coming on, she's scored 5 goals, I think, in qualifying as well. A lot of them coming off the bench, so she definitely will create an impact.
Well, we've had it all: disallowed goals, VAR decisions. Wales taking the lead. Switzerland are responding with an excellent goal from Backman. There's pressure on Switzerland, though. They are expected to win this game. Bagoon. Good play from Holland. Good block, though, I have to say, from Bagoon. I think he's looking for the corner here. Does have the option of Holme, who she uses. Here comes Reutler. Ingle to Fishlock, away from Roberts.
The touch from Holland was really important then. Just managed to just take the pace off the cross, but you see it once again, the ball just coming straight back. Wales trying to get themselves, push themselves higher. Gemma Evans, Hayley Ladd leading. As Danny was talking about the communication then. Pushing everyone else up, ensuring distances between them are good. They are quick, the Swiss, you know. Good in behind.
Ball out towards Maritz. Of course, there has to be a winner this evening. A win, well, other than a win in penalties, so a win in 90 minutes or in extra time will be enough to take Switzerland to the World Cup. Win for Wales in that time by less than 2 goals. And we didn't say for sure that it would be the tournament next year in New Zealand for a one-off game. There seems to be one outlet for Wales at the moment. The long ball's up towards Kaylee Green. They are sitting back.
Well,
Switzerland have pushed forward with vigour in this second half.
Well, that's been the pattern for the whole game, if we're honest. We knew that just by the way that Wales had set up. We tend to play with one hold in midfield. Normally Ingle just in front, but we've reverted the 2 pivot in front to the midfield in this game. And frustrating at times because I feel a little bit under Granger recently. When she first came in, we really tried to impose ourselves on teams and dictate play. But as the campaign has gone on and the possibility of reaching the World Cup has got closer, it feels as if we've reverted back to more of a old direct style of play, which can be frustrating when you've got the quality of players that Wales possess, especially the likes of Ingle, Fishlock, so technical. However, it is about game management as well, and it's just getting that balance. But I think Wales would have liked to have put their own stamp on the game a little bit more. However, it's still 1-1. And obviously, as we said, the Swiss are the favourites, definitely.
I think you're far more relaxed this evening, Brennan. I think you were more nervous last Thursday. Only time will tell, I guess.
Well, you can't see how fast my legs are moving under the table, that's why.
And 74% possession, which is unsurprising for Switzerland.
It is, but
But possession is one thing, Gwen, and it's what you do with it.
Yeah, exactly. It is surprising in a sense because they haven't dominated teams. When you look at their qualifying campaigns, yes, the likes of Moldova, you know, Minnows in the group that they've beaten 15-0, but other teams, they haven't had a huge amount of possession. But then, obviously, when Wales have allowed them to, because that has been the game plan, you expect those high statistics. And as you said, the aim of the game is to put the ball in the net, and if you're not creating chances with that possession, then it doesn't matter how much you have. Wales just need to limit those opportunities, especially keep the likes of Backman quiet, limit the space that she has to create danger and roam around it.
Rachel Rowe to Fishlock. Green chasing the ball over the top, so too Holland. No risks taken by Switzerland. And Wales have a rare throw close to that Swiss penalty area here. Fishlock, the nearest player to Rowe, as we enter the final 10 minutes before potentially extra time. Away from Mannix was not the best. Green, Holland, Fishlock, back to Green! Roof of the net. Great effort and good build-up play. And should it be 2-1?
Oh, look, we haven't entered the Swiss penalty box on many occasions, but when we have, we've looked lively. I think the challenge coming in actually is good defending from the left. It's a cute ball back by Fishlock, and then, yeah, Egbugan does enough actually just to force the, you know, just to put Kaylee Green under pressure. She can't actually strike through that and lean over it because of the angle of the leg.
Well, the host broadcaster was showing replays. Wales have another corner, a rare corner in this second half.
Delivery has to be spot on. Give those players an opportunity once again to attack the ball. Seen in the first half how vulnerable, how frail Switzerland are from set pieces.
And Harry James, header from Ingle, was always backing away from it. Had to get real elevation.
Yeah, so wait, she actually drives it in better this time than Harry James, but just see it's going away from goal. Sometimes the in-swingers are better there to put the goalkeeper under pressure, but obviously with Wales only having one naturally left-footed player in the team, in Gemma Evans, who used to actually take the set pieces, but she's one of the tallest on the teams. You want her in the box. Just needs to be in between the goalkeeper and the 6-yard box. That delivery, as you said, to give the Welsh players of Evans, Roberts, the opportunity to then go on and have the space to attack the ball.
Galagaris, Maritz. One for Evans to compete with. Swiss throw. Game at a critical stage. And if Wales could nick one, as they almost did with Kaylee Green, I tell you what, we'll have a grandstand finish.
Good play, actually. I think Rachel Rowe was just pulled out there, and you just seen Harry James just dropping back into that back line just to ensure that Wales are nice and compact.
By Bagunis. Bagunis. Pass the ball to Folmy. Tackle from Roberts. Foul by Roberts, was it? No, it's a throw-in rather than a free kick. It was a clean challenge. Miley. Kerry Holland putting it out for a throw. What must Gemma Granger be thinking? These final, 7 minutes? Piece of holding on. Wales have done that. Good play from Jamaili. Folmy. Ramona with the back to goal! And that could do it for Switzerland. Backman once again. And a fine finish it was. And that could end Wales's World Cup dream. And you have to say it has been coming.
Oh, it's certainly been coming, Simon. You can't say anything other than that in the second half. She's lucky with the penalty as well. But I was just about to praise Hayley Ladd, actually always in the right position defending, but then you've just seen Bachmann. I talked about actually Katie Green learning from that and pinning a defender well. Bachmann does this so well. If you're a young player, watch how she just backs into Hayley Ladd, uses Hayley Ladd to turn her body, and it doesn't matter what foot. You know, she's going to take it with aplomb, and she did.
And booked for her celebration. This was the finish.
Yeah, just see her rolling, Hayley Ladd there, just getting touch tight and using Hayley Ladd, knowing that she can't come through, and she can't touch her as well because she's obviously in the penalty box. And Laura O'Sullivan had no chance from there. It's great play from Bachmann, but again, just so disappointing from a Welsh perspective.
Found the top corner in the tightest of spaces, and that could be enough to take Switzerland to Australia and New Zealand.
Wales have got to go for it now. You've got absolutely nothing to lose. You'd rather just throw the kitchen sink at it and lose 3-1 and get caught on the counter, and you know you've given it. But I think we're seeing Lily Woodham getting ready to come on. They have to throw bodies forward now. They've got to go for it.
Rachel Rinast coming on for the Swiss. Well, still, there's a delay in the kickoff here, and there's a VAR check. I can't believe this. Well, Wales have ridden their luck already in this second half. And are they about to get luckier? There is a tension in Zurich tonight. And the celebrations have turned to silence here. They're still checking.
Well, when you thought there couldn't be any more drama, Simon. And we thought we'd seen it all on Thursday as well.
Well, it may be that the video assistant referee will let the referee come over to the screen again. It's a goal, is it? No. It's been disallowed. Well, Wales have ridden their luck twice in this second half. And this is the reason why, an offside call.
Yeah, it's Jamili there, offside. You can just see just half a body length. Offside in the build-up to the play. Number 7 there, just as she receives the front ball.
It's all gone quiet in Zurich, and Wales are still in this.
I really hope Wales will continue and bring Lily Woodham on and go for it. Because I think they're forcing so much pressure on themselves. And as I said so many times already in the second half, there's only so long that you can defend wave upon wave of attacks.
Well, 2 VAR calls in this game have been the main talking points. The one resulted in a penalty that was eventually scored by the penalty taker off the post, so that was disallowed. And as Wales prepare to take this free kick, they're still riding their luck from that second call, which was an offside decision.
Yeah, but both actually correct decisions. You know, we've seen from the penalty, because it wasn't touched by Laura O'Sullivan or anybody else. Sinagocevic was offside, the right call, and we've seen then with Jamili, you can see that right leg of hers in the build-up to the play.
Well, had it not been for VAR, that goal would have stood, and that is what it is there for better or for worse. And for Wales, it's a real lifeline. Rachel Rowe. What can Wales do from here? Flicked on by Evans. Green with another header. And Evans towards the goalkeeper. We may well be heading for extra time here.
How's your nerves, Simon?
Well, we expected drama. We said that at the top of the programme. And that is exactly what we've had.
I think if a doctor was here and was measuring my blood pressure, he wouldn't be very happy. Wow.
Well, there's a lot of potentially half an hour as well. And as Wales could complete the drama here. Fishlock goes down. Holland comes across and puts a foot in. It is a throw-in. We have seen it all tonight.
Yeah, but that's the reason it's pleasing that VAR are being used in these big games, because the players aren't used to having them in normal qualification. But when there's so much at stake, we're talking about creating history for Wales here. And obviously, the Swiss reaching their second World Cup, historic to them as well. But big calls like that, they need to have the technology there. There's so much riding on it.
All over the top for O'Sullivan to collect. It was Rinast who was the closest to her, and Gemma Granger and her Swiss counterpart Niels Nielsen will be thinking about extra time here, and Wales are going to make a change.
Yeah, I'm really pleased to see Lily Woodham come on. I've always said about the balance of the team with Wales only having one natural left footer on the team. She's really explosive and dynamic, Lily Woodham.
And it's Kaylee Green who is making way.
Well,
Decides to go off on the other end of the pitch, and she is out on her feet. Has really worked hard in that solo role.
She'll be disappointed, but you can never question her commitment. You know, her running statistics, very, very high, running those channels, working both centre halves, keeping them really, really busy. And there's 8 minutes, Simon, of added on time.
Extra time before extra time. 8 minutes. And there's still time for a winner. In normal time, Ladd has got to watch Bachmann behind her. And the announcement of 8 minutes has boosted the Swiss fans. Bachmann against Roberts. Bagoon beaten to it by Fishlock, and we see the pace of Fiona Morgan.
Yeah, so you just see Fiona Morgan adopting that central role now up top, and then Lily Woodham has come outside onto the left-hand side, the left wing.
Roberts got an important touch. Bachmann was behind her. Bagoon. Belty. Caligaris. Chips it in towards that back post. Here's Bachmann. And an offside decision goes Wales's way.
Yeah, Wales just need to maintain that pressure now and closing down the ball. Don't allow spaces for easy transfers into the box or switches of play into the box. Just keep that intensity high.
You can see the serious faces on the Swiss bench. You said at the start of the evening that you felt that Wales could cause an upset. I don't think many of us, though, expected this sort of drama going into extra time.
I didn't expect the drama, Simon. I thought we'd seen the back of that on Thursday night, but yeah, and I still feel it as well. I think I was expecting Wales to impose themselves on the game a little bit more than we have. I expected long periods where...
Roberts with a header. Good fall to Rinast. Fishlock. Went to ground. It was the tackle by Buehler.
Yeah, Buehler's actually done well against Fishlock in those areas. It's hard for Jess Fishlock when she's running across at such a pace to try and get on the end of it.
Sunagocevic. Just towards Rinast. On a tight angle to try and direct that header.
Yeah, just needed to hold her run there. Yeah, Rinast just needs to hold her run so that she's giving herself more space to be able to come on to her. As you can see, she's backpedaling really hard then to try and get the ball back across. Laura Sullivan just trying to eat into as many seconds as she possibly can. But do you know what? I'm not sure it's going to extra time would suit Wales, considering they obviously had that extra 30 minutes and the emotion of it all as well. They were drained from that game on Thursday evening. We've had enough time to recover. The Swiss haven't played an international game since September, and since that 15-0 victory against Moldova, so I'm not sure it favours Wales.
Rinast. Roberts trying to chase Bagoon. The tackle. Well, it was this sort of position that saw Wales come unstuck before for that disallowed goal because of Ramona Bachmann, who will take this corner kick. Hayley Ladd did well, in fairness.
Oh, she got absolutely as tight as possible. Got the side on as well, so she wasn't turned. She was too flat with that goal that was ruled offside.
Bachmann with the corner. And there are yellow shirts aplenty in that penalty area. Gemma Granger would have prepared in her mind for extra time and potentially penalties. There was a confidence about Switzerland, certainly reading some of the newspapers this morning. They wouldn't overpower Wales and Wales would roll over, but there was an expectation to win. Hasn't gone their way so far.
You never write off the Welsh. The spirit, the desire, the heart that Welsh teams have across any sport. They're always going to give themselves a chance, and certainly this team, the amount of heartache they've had in the past, running close. That last game against England, obviously losing out to Northern Ireland in the Euros. And it's the same squad. There's barely any changes. They've got the same, you know, experienced players. I mean, you've had one or two maybe of youth players coming in to add to it.
Fitchlock. Can she keep it in play here? Done really well to do so. But hasn't got much in the way of support. Finds Rowe. First time cross towards Holland. James with a late run into the box.
No bodies at this assignment.
It's a balancing act, isn't it, for Gemma Granger? You commit those bodies and perhaps be vulnerable, Gwenan. Portugal-Iceland, by the way, has gone into extra time. So that could well, in the grander scheme of things, have an effect on Wales. But as things stand, this game here is heading into extra time. Unless Switzerland or Wales can find another breakthrough.
Good, Wales maintaining, look, you can see Gemma Evans, Hayley Ladd pushing people forward, trying not to be deep, they're trying to get as high as possible. Force errors like that, as I said, about maintaining that pressure when you're closing down.
Be interested to know if Bachmann's yellow card would still stand after taking her shirt off during the celebration for the goal that wasn't. I suspect he probably would.
I said Thursday that we needed former international, now referee, Cheryl Foster. I'm sure she could answer that again, but I'm pretty sure the yellow card does continue.
Well, I think it's good that we brought the rule book tonight, or at least knowledge of it. It has been tested. What a night of drama. And it's not over yet. Fitchlock goes down. Now free kick.
Oh, you've got to throw
and that
everything
clock
at this.
is ticking away. Wales have to get this forward, Gwenan.
Yeah, you have to throw the kitchen sink at it now. Pleasing to see Gemma Evans. I'd like to see Rhiannon Roberts going forward. I mentioned this first half of the free kick. Height. See the goal scorer for Wales this evening.
Rachel Rowe, who set up that goal for Fitchlock against Bosnia from a free kick.
But look at the mentality. Like, there's so many players, they're not even forcing themselves upon. Maybe, again, they want to win that second ball.
In it comes from Rowe towards Evans. Back to James. And no one there to meet it.
I don't understand that myself. Why they had three players up against that Swiss defence and the rest of them dropping off.
We are heading for extra time. Who would have thought that? And in large part, it's thanks to VAR. Switzerland had 2 goals disallowed. The first was a penalty that was given because of VAR and was eventually then disallowed after a rebound. And then Switzerland put the ball in the back of the net again. And that was disallowed because of the video assistant referee. But Wales are still in this, and we're heading for extra time in this playoff final. After 90 minutes, it's finished Switzerland 1, Wales 1.
Everybody okay? We wanted drama and we got drama. We weren't fans of VAR on Thursday, but tonight We are converted. We like VAR. Let's go straight to the action then. Rachel Rowe, a penalty given against her. You didn't agree with the call initially, actually, Danny.
I didn't think it was. It's one I kind of need to see again. But from a defensive point of view, you see there, is that an unnatural position? I think, look, you're trying to go and head the ball. Your arms are going to be up. You've got a player next to you as well. So your arm naturally goes up to make contact. Yes, it comes off the arm, but I thought it was a little bit harsh. But as you say, Catch, VAR coming to the rescue here. Stroke of luck for us.
And the call is, you explained it in commentary.
Yeah, I think well, Katie, I think you did a bit of research yourself, didn't you? It's the double touch rule, I think it's called.
Yeah, the double touch rule. She's taken the penalty, and because it's come off the post and it hasn't touched another player, another player has to connect with the ball, put it in the back of the net before the person who took the penalty can put it back in the net. So it's just that double touch rule. And thankfully, we have a lifeline.
We do indeed. And we had another lifeline. 86 minutes. Bachmann, we'd spoken about her so much during this game, and we thought that she'd got the clincher, the big important goal, but another VAR check.
Yeah, and we talk about VAR a lot in the headlines for all the wrong reasons, but we're so thankful that we have it for these games. It was on the wrong side of us for Thursday night, but tonight it's the right call. Bachmann has been causing us lots of problems, but we can see here the player receiving the ball. She is offside, who then passes the ball into Bachmann. And great play from Bachmann in the end to put it in the back of the net. But thankfully, another lifeline for Wales.
Yeah, as Katie alluded to it, it's just for these big games that we're having it, these playoffs.
Well, hopefully we'll see it across the board of the women's game moving forward. I'm sure that's something that's going to happen as time goes on. But you can see the importance of it there. So difficult for officials to get every single decision right. You know, that offside call is a tight call on the naked eye, so it goes to VAR. And it's rightly kind of chalked off. You know, big stroke of luck for us, because I think second half we've really struggled. First half we contained them well. Second half Switzerland have been dominant.
Yeah, it has all been Switzerland in that second half. Do you think Wales have anything to offer? Can they possibly get a goal? Kaylee Green, she came close.
I think what we're doing is trying to hit them on the counter, and with the pace of Fionn Morgan now coming on, that's something we look to do. But the quality going forward, we talked about being brave in defence. We have to also be brave in possession and just look after the ball, because that's the only way that we're going to get a goal. We have to win this game. Otherwise, we're going into penalties.
Let's not think about that yet. We will think about the P word later on. Back we go. Simon and Gwenan.
Thanks a lot, guys. And we have 30 minutes and potentially penalties. Worth pointing out that if it gets that far and Wales do win on penalty kicks, it would not be enough to automatically put them through to the World Cup. They would go through to another tournament next February in New Zealand. That is an inter-confederation tournament, so they would face a lesser ranked nation, but they would be a game away then from the World Cup. But Switzerland will be wanting to win this in normal time, because if they go to penalty kicks, there's always the danger that they wouldn't automatically qualify either. They may need other results to go their way.
I think they take just a win at this moment. I think either team would, and you'll just deal with the rest as it comes. But as I've already alluded to this evening, the Swiss have got experience. They qualified against, or the playoff qualifier against Czech Republic, sorry, ended 2-2, and that went then to penalties, which they won 3-2.
Wales to kick off then. The start of this extra time with a scoreline at 1-1. Fishlock. What would you like to see more of Wales in this 30-minute period, Gwenna? Because it was one-way traffic, really, wasn't it, for that second half?
Well, we need to get more players further forward supporting the play. I can understand the use of the flanks, as I've said the whole game, with the high positions of their fullbacks, but I would like to see us try and get on the ball a little bit better, play through the thirds, use the ability of your captain, Sophie Ingle. She's like a quarterback in that role. Allow her the opportunity to try and get and bring in the likes of Fishlock then in good areas.
Like the goon.
We did start to see that style of play at the start of the campaign. And when we've played, Wales, sorry, played the likes of Denmark.
Reutler to Bachmann. tussling for it there with Rachel Rowe.
Sorry, Simon, just going back to that point, you know, Wales have played Canada, they've played Denmark, they've played New Zealand, trying to adopt that style of play, trying to be a bit more expansive and braver in possession and create things instead of just using the flanks and the pace in behind. As I said, it is a balance.
Sullivan kept in by Woodham. Morgan brought down by Buehler. And the Swiss bench urging their players to get as forward as possible here. Multi. It's a foul on Saganovic, was it? No.
Oh, she got the ball clearly there. Again, she's defended very well. I think the only time she has been beaten, Hayley Ladd, was that turn, that really good turn and finish by Bachmann.
Gemma Granger will have her 5 penalty takers in mind, I'm sure.
A long time till then, so
yeah, if she needs it. Did see Wales beating a penalty shootout in the recent Pinatar Cup, and many of the younger players took spot kicks on those occasions, so we'd expect to see the likes of Fishlock and Ingle to take them this time around.
Yeah, I think they would. You know, they're bold enough, they're brave enough, experienced enough to step up. There's a long time to go till then. Wales just allowing centre halves to bring and just see.
Ball into the middle.
Yeah, just see the position again, the understanding of Valti, the captain, when it was Buehler this time bringing the ball up. She just naturally slots into that centre half role, just covering it, her teammates when there was a space for Buehler to bring the ball forward.
Bachmann's corner. O'Sullivan has committed herself. Away by Holland. And away again by Fishlock. Back in from Velty. And Ladd does very well to find that sort of volleyed pass to Woodham, and Morgan will try and chase it down here. And Woodham in support, could be away here. Fishlock in the middle. Wins the throw.
That's what the pace and the power of Lily Wood and Fia Morgan does, and that's what's important to bring and refresh. We've seen in recent games, Wales haven't made many changes, but I would have loved to have seen Lily Wood take her on there. Face up, back yourself.
Fishlock into Morgan. Valti. Bagoon has got the length of the pitch to run down. If she just looks up, she can see Rinast in front of her. Good interception, Rhiannon Roberts. Caligaris. Maritz. Well, there's lots of neat and tidy passing from Switzerland.
Yeah, look, Wales will be happy if it's going side to side like that. They're in their banks of 4, they're just shifting sideways, maintaining those distances. It's when they try and play through balls. The players like Bachmann pick up these areas is when it's causing a problem.
Bachmann, lovely skill. Pass 1, pass 2. Good save, O'Sullivan. Again, when she's given room, Ramona Bachmann, who may have picked up an injury in the process, but when she is in space, she is a danger.
Oh, look, on the half turn there, absolutely superb to receive the ball, just bouncing it off then. And I actually thought she got caught here. Oh, again by Roberts. You can see Roberts' face, actually, as well. That's twice now. She's really maintained her balance, composure during the game. I mean, if she'd have gone down, that would have been for me, that would have been a penalty. It was a simple finish, simple save for Laura O'Sullivan. But as I said, you know, Wales are happy when the Swiss are moving the ball side to side. But they're experienced, they know when to try and up the tempo, move it side to side to try and then find and expose an area where there is space.
O'Sullivan, flicked on by Holland. Fishlock. Rose, deflected ball, eventually ends up with Holland. Morgan. Shoulder-to-shoulder challenge with Calagaris. Maric. Siligonovic beating Evans to the header. They've had quite a tussle, those two. And the tackle from Rachel Rowe has left the Wales player on the floor. It was on Jamaili. And down the other end, here goes Fishlock. Throw in Wales, but there will be a stoppage here.
Well, how much running has Fishlock done? And actually, you know, what it'd be amazing for everybody, but for her especially, because she actually made her debut against Switzerland. I can remember her starting in the midfield, scored on her debut, a really well-taken goal, well-worked goal from a set-piece, from a free kick. She rolled off the wall to finish it calmly. I was a roommate back then. I actually got left on the sidelines. I thought I was coming on. And he forgot about me, so I was as elated as I was for Jess. And it was the only time, actually, Wales have beaten Switzerland. Now 3-2, we've played on 5 occasions. And then the last game we've played against them, we got a draw, a 0-0 draw in the Cyprus Cup. Every other game has been a loss.
See Matthew Jones speaking there with Gemma Granger. He is the new under-21 coach, men's under-21 coach. I wonder if this is the last we see of Rachel Rowe. I mean, she may have been one of those that you would have thought of as a penalty taker if it gets that far.
Again, I think we would see coming back on the pitch. She's very tenacious. She's having their time with it, that's all.
Well, Woodham is leaving it for Phil Morgan to take. Swiss fans not happy with that.
To be honest, I'm not either, because that just shows the mentality. I understand Rachel Rowe is...
And it is, sorry, Gwennon, it is a yellow card shown to Lily Woodham for time wasting.
But I understand it, you know, that Rachel Rowe's off the pitch. Wales got 10 players, and Gemma Granger wants her to cover the left back. But the Swiss have got one player forward. We have to win this game. We can't rely on penalties. You want to go and win it. You're in an area of the pitch where...
Siligonovic away from Woodham. There's free space for Rinnes to run into. First time cross, but far too close to O'Sullivan and not close enough to Jamaili.
But for me, let that be a lesson for Wales. Attack is the best form of defence. And I just thought that was a poor call in terms of mentality. Obviously, she's doing what her manager's asked of it. Laura O'Sullivan really calm then, composed.
Flick on from Holland. Morgan pushing further forward here. Evans away to Ingle. Rowe on the half volley does eventually find Woodham. Now, is there a reluctance from Wales to take those risks and try and win this in extra time? Gemma Granger set up the team very defensively, and it's worked to a point.
It has, but I've mentioned so many times about the Swiss and they're defending from set pieces. We scored the goal from a set piece or from wide areas, from crosses. We've got a throw in the last quarter of the pitch, and we're bringing players back. You know, just positive mentality going forward.
Bannett in towards Backman. James gets there first. Ingle finds Fiona Morgan. Well, she's on her own, needs support. And Woodham, the closest player to her, does well to hold up the play. Rowe.
Oh, she had to delay them, Fiona Morgan. She did really good work to stretch pitch, get Wales further forward, but then she had nobody in support of her with a quick shear. She did well, actually, just to check back in, wait for that support to arrive.
Fishlock. Trying to win the ball back off Volti. Beautiful ball. Bagoon has got space to attack Roberts now. Kerry Holland tracking back and did very well. There's a lot of space for Switzerland on that left-hand side for them.
Yeah, what you're seeing as well is Wales forwards of Fishlock and Holland are sometimes interchanging. I think just purely fatigue. Wales haven't got as many options. They haven't quite got that depth to be able to take off the top players off Fishlock. No, she is really fatigued.
Deception from Roberts. Because Rin asked. The only player really to aim for was Fia Morgan. Mr. Talman. Forward from Caligaris. It's tense stuff in Zurich as both teams try and close in on a World Cup place. Free kick, Switzerland.
Got the ball there. Tackle myself from where we were looking at it.
Well, Fia Morgan just kicking the ball away. Ball from Bachmann is a decent one for Jamaili. In contest with Rowe. Well, the Swiss crowd wanted a penalty, or at least a free kick on the penalty line. Ball could go all the way to Jamaili here. Bachmann, elbow to the floor by Rachel Rowe. And it's a Swiss free kick. Rowe penalised, not for the first tackle, but the second.
I think that could have gone either way, the second. Let's see this again.
Well, this was the earlier one.
You could argue she's got hold of his shirt, but then at the same point you could argue it's good strength, so already fallen to the floor. It's this one here. I think she's a little bit unlucky there. I think that was a bit of a body check. You know, Rachel Rowe's a really strong player. She's got a low centre of gravity. She's hard to get off the ball. I wouldn't be surprised to see Bachmann have a strike here.
Well, it's some distance out, and it would have to be something very special to beat Laura O'Sullivan and this three-woman wall. Well, is it too far to the right to shoot?
The body shape now looks as if she's going to cross it in terms of the angle that she's approaching the ball.
Bachmann does cross it into that near post! Sudagovic just wide. The Barcelona player with a glancing header.
Well, where on earth was the Welsh defence there? Because you had two players completely unmarked, and to leave any player unmarked is criminal, but to leave their top goal scorer, 70 goals in 140 internationals with absolutely nobody near it, is terrible defending from Wales, and they've had another let-off.
There's overlapping runners. If Bachmann could have seen them. Cleared away. It was Rinas who had made that run. Fishlock down the other end, attacking the Swiss defence. Into Morgan. Morgan. Oh, she just couldn't give it back to Fishlock on the return. And both teams getting a bit more adventurous now.
Yeah, it was that extra touch on this Simon, but what a turn from Fishlock. Just so aware of the space. Valti left in thin air for once. It was just that extra touch that Fia Morgan took.
Valti over the top. Wales want the offside flag. It doesn't come. Ladd with a header away. 2 minutes of additional time in this first half of extra time. Cross in towards Sudagovic over the head of Jamaili. I know they've had 2 disallowed goals, but it hasn't necessarily been a cutting edge about Switzerland tonight. There's been lots of nice play, but they will be disappointed by the fact that it's got this far.
Yeah, certainly, especially when you look on paper as well, with the quality of the attacking forwards. We've seen So come off already. They've brought on the youngster Jamaili, who's promising youngster, but then Bachmann, dare I say it, Sinagocevic has been fairly quiet so far. I hope I'm not putting a commentator's curse on that.
Bueller. Towards Valti. Mike Bagoon. Swiss fans getting behind their team late on in this first half of extra time. What stage does Gemma Granger start thinking about penalties? Not when Switzerland are pushing forward like this. Backman looking to take on players. It's just banks of yellow shirts that Switzerland are going to get through. It's the cross towards Shamaili. Takes the first touch, and it didn't sit right before Rachel Rowe got in her way.
Yeah, she was tight enough there, Rachel Rowe. Just react to the first touch from Jamaili. Go back to your point, Simon, about penalties. You can't afford to think about them yet. When you've got the experienced players, that penalty takers, that she would want on the pitch.
Bannett, they're putting the balls into the box now. Sort of Gorovic on that back post, and it was her flick on that almost set up Renast. And I think she's got her head in her hands, because it was a great opportunity, and that is half-time in extra time. We are edging ever closer to penalties. I'm sure that is on Gemma Granger's mind. There's so much at stake, but in extra time it's still Switzerland 1, Wales 1.
My word, we are exhausted here in studio. I wonder how the players are feeling. 120 minutes on Thursday, 120 minutes they will have played by the end of this second half of extra time. There are some tired bodies out there, Katie.
Yeah, and this is where it gets physically but also mentally tiring, and those decision making, that communication, it starts getting affected. And we've seen we're still having that lifeline after lifeline. The attack from Switzerland at the moment is relentless, but we're staying compact, but we've just got to stay switched on.
It is relentless. They've had so many good opportunities in that first half, but they haven't taken them.
No, they haven't. But I think from a Wales point of view, probably our best hope is penalties now. We are looking really tired. We haven't really created anything of note. All the best chances have gone to the Swiss again. Unless we can retain possession a bit better, you'd expect Switzerland to try and get the game done the way that they play. So possibly if they throw too many bodies forward and we can put an attack together, maybe we can do something, but it's not really looking that way at the minute. So I think it gets to this stage now where neither team really wants to kind of make a mistake, because there's no coming back from it. It's going to get more cagey, I think, as this second half goes on. And as I say, I think our best hope is probably to take it to penalties and see what we can do from there.
Simon asked the question in commentary, when do you start thinking about penalties? Because we were discussing during that first half that maybe somebody like Helen Ward, Wales' top scorer, maybe the game doesn't suit her, but would you want her on the pitch to take a penalty?
I imagine this has already been planned out. Of course, you want your leading goal scorer on the pitch to be put in front of goal, but that's a lot of pressure on Helen Ward to come off the bench and be put in that situation. But I'm sure this has already been planned through.
I don't think Katie can take much more of this. The tension here in the studio, I'm sure you're feeling it at home as well. Here we go again, I'm going to say it. Another huge 15 minutes for Wales. Simon, Gwenam.
Thank you, Catherine. And how are you feeling back home? How are all Wales fans feeling at this stage? There are clear penalty takers on that pitch for Wales. The likes of Ingle, Fishlock, Rhiannon Roberts, maybe she'd put her hand up as well.
I wouldn't want to get in the way of a Rhiannon Roberts penalty if she got over it.
Should say as well that Fabian Hum has come on, very experienced player for Switzerland. This her 75th cap, she's 35 years of age. So maybe the Swiss are thinking about penalties as well, and experienced heads. Just a reminder for our viewers that a penalty win for Wales would not guarantee a place at the World Cup, but it would take them mightily close to another tournament next year where there would be a one-off game against a lower-ranked team in the Interconfederation tournament. Bühler. Good turn of pace from Renast up towards Fishlock.
Great turn of pace, but good covering play once again from Angharad James.
Belty.
The importance of her and Sophie Ingle, the discipline of those two in those roles. Just in front of the midfield, just covering across. So important. They've been superb tonight.
Ingle towards Holland. Bueller. Doughty finds Rinast. Tackle from Roberts. You can see the bursts of runs from Jess Fishlock. One risk taken by a forward player at this stage would be enough to win the game. Ball with Caligaris. Maritz. In towards Reuteler. Intercepted by James. Back to Reuteler though. And here's Backman. Holland getting stuck in. And can spot the run of Fishlock here, who's up against Bueller.
It's a problem at times. Obviously, you've got those spaces to exploit, but you also want to play it into players' feet. But good play initially again by Kerry Holland. How much running has she done?
Backman just charging forward. Tremendous tackle from James. It was risky from behind.
I've already mentioned it in the last minute. Absolutely superb, the timing of the tackle.
And out it goes from Bueller. Backman has gone down after that tackle. Well, you have to give credit to some of the Swiss players as well who've contributed to this fantastic night of football. None more so than Ramona Backman.
Brilliantly timed tackle from behind. And then you can see her pulling up again. She's really driven her team forward when they've needed her most this evening. Got into those areas, I said, but she's been everywhere. You know, she has that free roll. Niels Nielsen knows just how important she is, how creative she is. She can create something out of nothing, giving her the freedom, the license to roam around and just find those pockets of space.
Roberts with the throw. They don't want to be accused of time wasting here. Lily Woodham booked for that in this game. And Leanna Roberts still not taking this throw-in. The fourth official having a word now. The Swiss are furious because they have to give possession back anyway to Switzerland, or obliged to anyway. And back it goes to Talman. They would have practiced penalties. Gemma Granger surely would have gone through these drills this week.
Yeah, you would imagine so. Yeah, I'm sure she's got in her mind the majority of the penalty takers, but I wouldn't be surprised if all five, at least four of them, are the ones playing on the pitch, the likes of Ingle, Fishlock, etc. And then, yeah, possibly bringing on someone like Helen Ward.
Woodham is released. Goes out for a throw.
But I still think it's a bit too early to be thinking about that. You just have to play the game for what it is at the moment. Maintain concentration, maintain discipline. Kerry Holland's been outstanding again. She's brilliant.
She kept the ball in play as well.
Her work rate is phenomenal, but her positioning in that defensive.
James to Fishlock didn't work out.
Oh, she's so tired. Fishlock, you've seen the amount of running that she's had to do to try and get up to support James. Pass, unfortunately, needs to be spot on to her feet, otherwise she can't quite make it at the moment. Don't forget, she has suffering from a hamstring injury.
Fishlock trying to find Fia Morgan there. Who are your five? I know you say don't think about penalties at this time.
Oh, I don't want to think about it yet. Sorry.
Fair
it's
enough.
Too early. It's too early. Ask me in 8 minutes if it's still the same.
Ingle spots the run of Fishlock. Could be in here. Put behind for a corner by Bueller. But it's not beyond Jess Fishlock to score a goal like that. We saw that in Cardiff against Bosnia.
I'm still watching that goal back on loop. What a technique. What technique to finish it.
Fishlock and James, the usual partnership, going over for that corner.
Still got 4 players out of the box and 5 of you. One of these staying up.
In it comes. Good fall to Ingle. Holland was waiting for Ingle to pass back to her. Clever play from Holland. She was fouled, legitimately, I think, by Hum. But she invited the challenge, I think.
Yeah, I think she bought that one, didn't she? And this is an area... Wales have to throw bodies forward. When you've got an opportunity like this, I understand when people say playing for penalties, Switzerland are the favourites, the players on paper. When you've got a good opportunity like this, put your most potent, your strongest attackers from set pieces in the area. We've got one... Obviously, we've got two staying back. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Still 4, plus the free kick taker, not even in the box.
Woodham with the free kick. Left-footed drive towards that back post. Evans came in. And so too Rhiannon Roberts. Neither got a head on it, but it is a corner.
Good delivery by Woodham. That's what having that balance with having another left foot. Obviously, we mentioned Gemma Evans, but you want her in there attacking. Good pressure from Rhiannon Roberts.
Well, there is going to be a change here, and Ramona Bachmann, if it does go to penalties, will not be taking one of the spot kicks. Off she comes, picked up that injury. Marianne Teschun is coming on. Wales have a corner. Is this Wales's night? James looks poised to take this corner kick. Late chance for Wales, headed away, comes back out to Woodham, back in towards where Evans is. Holland's header. Didn't fall for Evans. And Wales have got to work hard to get back here. Good play from Teschun, the first touch for her off the bench. Smogovic.
Wales got back really well in numbers then. The recovery run so important. Maintain shape.
Bueller. Caligaris. Well, who thought that it would get this far? Whatever happens here on in, it'll be a night to remember for Wales. Hopefully not for the wrong reasons. Chance for Switzerland. Well played, Hayley Ladd. Because in the middle was Fabian Hum.
A good positioning from Hayley Ladd at the front post, where you'd expect her to be, where she's been all evening. But that late run from Reuteler, we've barely mentioned her so far. She's one of the important players for the Swiss team over the last 6 months. She's running off the back shoulder. That late run from the midfield is so hard to track.
Corner kick to be taken by one of the substitutes, Rinast. The Swiss fans hoping for one last effort from Switzerland here. In it comes. O'Sullivan's dropped it. Could go to Srdagocevic. And away, eventually desperate defending in the end by Woodham.
Oh, Kerry Holland with that block. We've mentioned her work defensively off the ball, in it, maintaining her shape. The bravery, chuck herself for a strike from Srdagocevic.
Rinast again with the corner. It's an in-swinger. O'Sullivan gets a fist on it. And it came off Holland and out for another corner, a third in succession. Oh, this is backs to the wall stuff now. Switzerland are pushing and pushing. Rinast. Another in-swinging corner. O'Sullivan, well, missed it, and it's cleared off the line.
Hayley Ladd.
And he goes out for a goal kick eventually. How close have Switzerland come in this game? And how defiant have Wales been?
Sorry, Rachel Rowe on the line. But that's why you have somebody on that near post. She's covering across there. Laura O'Sullivan just looked uncomfortable with those series of corners. They're good deliveries as well, fair play. Right on top of her in that area, so difficult to deal with.
Srdagocevic is free. Roberts has come across to close her down. It's been a monumental effort so far from Wales, and Ingle with the important touch. And out to Fionn Morgan, who was brought down cynically perhaps by Rinast, who may well be booked for this. But in its position, this free kick is not too dissimilar to where Rachel Rowe struck the ball against Bosnia for Fishlock to finish. And I'll ask you again, Gwenan, is this Wales' night?
Well,
It's starting to feel like that.
yeah, it is. I hope it's not the commentator's curse, as you said. They're saying that, but it's important. So many crucial interceptions or just little key areas. Ingle then, again, the distance between them. We actually see Helen Ward being ready to come on, so possibly thinking of those penalties. 3+ minutes to go.
Woodham with another corner kick. A goal now would surely win it. Over the head of Roberts, back to Ingle, back into that penalty area. Just won't fall for Wales. James into Evans. Back out to Harry James, and with so many players committed forward, well, thankfully Rachel Rowe was there to the rescue. And she's still going.
Again, the recovery runs, Gemma Evans, Lily Woodham, outstanding. And yeah, Wales' record goal scorer, Helen Ward, not a bad option to bring off the bench.
44 goals in her Wales career. You would fancy her scoring from 12 yards. Ladd under pressure from Hum. That will give Wales the time to make the change, and I think there'll be applause from the Welsh bench and indeed from Gwenan Harris for Kerry Holland.
She has been outstanding this evening. Hasn't had the opportunity she would have liked to have shown her attacking prowess, getting on the ball, but oh, the work rate, the discipline, the shape, bravery.
Are we heading for penalties? A penalty win, a shootout win, would see Wales go within a game of the World Cup, but against a lower-ranked team next February. But it isn't over yet. Chested down by Woodham. Fishlock leads the chase. Talman has come way out of her goal, and Portugal beating Iceland. It does seem as though Portugal 4-1 are heading for the World Cup. Never mind events elsewhere. You haven't been able to take your eyes off this game in Zurich tonight. Helen Ward wanted the free kick. Throw in instead.
Wales will certainly take their time on this one now, I feel.
Well, to take it to penalties, if it gets that far,
One thing
is
I
almost
would...
an achievement in itself, isn't it, Gwenan?
Yeah, I don't think many people gave... You know, I was confident in this evening of us causing an upset, but I don't think many people gave Wales much credit. Obviously, they needed to improve their performances for previous games.
Ball down the channel for Reuteler. James. Well, Fishlock came back from an offside position there. Play continues. Maritz. Oh, it's tense now. It's tense in Zurich. What's it like back in Wales? I can only imagine. Those watching at home now. One last attack possibly from Switzerland. In it comes a Reuteler. Demanding a post! Oh, it's in! It's heartbreaking. It's cruel. It's Fabian Hum, who looks to have denied Wales their World Cup dream. The Welsh players out on their feet, but it's the Swiss who celebrate. You can't deny their quality. Oh, but it's a sickener for Gemma Granger's team.
I'm emotional. That's absolutely heartbreaking to concede literally probably with one of the last kicks of the game. But Wales have to live with mistakes and too much space in behind. They have to stop that cross.
The Welsh players look absolutely devastated. And this was the moment. This was the moment that put Switzerland in the World Cup.
I question the space. You cannot get beaten at your near post there. It's those fine margins. The Wales have rode their luck at times this evening.
Well, they've had disallowed goals go in their favour. But the World Cup dream looks to be over. Difficult to know what to say at a moment like this. There have been so many heartbreaking moments in Welsh international football, and this night in Zurich may well be one of those.
Yeah, look, this is absolutely heartbreaking, you know, to have come so close. If you're well beaten, you put your hands up, but when you've brought it so close, and it's so hard to say because you don't have to keep going back to we got so close or look how well we ran, because Wales deserve and should be with the squad members they've got, be competing at World Cups and major tournaments. But you do have to look at the bigger picture. There's 7,000 here this evening for a nation that have reached 2 European Championship finals and a World Cup previously. Wales had 15,000 there on Thursday evening. The development of the game has been outstanding. It's just such a shame that it's not going to be rewarded with a historic first major tournament.
Well, it's the Swiss who are celebrating. They have been given a real contest tonight. They've been the better side, I think that's probably fair to say, but you cannot deny the heart of these Welsh players. And it's just a case now for the home side to keep hold of the ball, but there is a free kick. Well, it's been a strange old night. And Wales now, you feel, have only one last chance to get that ball in that penalty area, and anything can happen.
And it has to be everybody up there competing over that final line. And it needs to be a good delivery.
Across comes Lily Woodham, who's put in some really good balls in extra time. There's not enough time. The dream is over. The Swiss celebrate. And it's Wales who miss out on a World Cup place. Oh, it's a heartbreaker. But these Welsh women will come again. They've shown heart and bravery tonight. But it has been Switzerland's night and not Gemma Granger's team. It has been a campaign to remember, but it's ended in extra time in the most cruel of circumstances. And this was the winning goal. Well, it was that near post effort that evaded Laura O'Sullivan. It's been a dramatic night in Zurich, but ultimately a disappointing night for Wales in the end. Gemma Granger will have to pick her players up now because it's finished in Zurich. Disappointingly, in extra time, Switzerland 2, Wales 1.
Well, sport is a cruel beast. Heartbreak for Wales. We thought we were heading towards penalties, but in the final minute, the substitute getting the all-important goal. And Gwennan was getting quite emotional there, Katie, in commentary. The players are emotional out there. They came so close. You've got to feel for them.
It's heartbreaking, Kat. It's really heartbreaking because we've got close in the past, but I think this squad is the best squad that we've had for a long time. And under Granger, we really felt this was going to be our campaign. And yeah, I'm a bit lost for words because to concede a goal that late into extra time, it's tough to take.
Because it felt like it could be Wales' evening. VAR was on our side tonight.
Yeah, we rode our luck at times. Look, I thought the Swiss were the better team overall. If you look at the amount of possession they had, if you look at the chances created, they would have felt well aggrieved if they didn't get the result tonight. And you know, as Katie said, it's just really disappointing to see that late where you think it's going to go to penalties and then it's a bit of a lottery. I felt that was our best way of maybe winning the game because we did look a little bit out on our feet. The team put so much effort in. And to lose it that kind of late in the game, I mean, you can see the emotion on the faces of the girls there. I just really feel for them. It's a difficult one to take in right now, to be honest.
Bon Jovi, this ain't a song for the broken-hearted, going around the stadium. And for many of these players, the senior players, this might have felt like their final and their best opportunity.
Yeah, we've talked about it, haven't we, about that group of players who are probably, you know, last chance really to qualify for a major tournament because of their age. And yeah, so I don't really want to make assumptions about players' next steps for international football, but you can't help but avoid those conversations that they're probably going to be having with themselves and the people around them. But yeah, just watching these scenes, it is heartbreaking.
And it just shows, actually, these scenes, how much Switzerland are celebrating. They realise they've been in a proper fight this evening, Danny.
For sure. And I think that's what our team, that's what our girls always produce. The heart, the desire is always there. That's always a given, and that's what makes it such a difficult team to play against. But I think you look kind of from a quality point of view throughout the game, we probably didn't have enough moments, did we? I thought we defended ever so well. We worked hard as a team. We made it difficult for the Swiss. We rode our luck a little bit, but when you're looking for our kind of big players to kind of step up and have those moments, we just weren't able to create enough of those moments tonight. Switzerland are a good side. They're a really good side, and there's a very different game to what we saw on Thursday, where we were able to kind of dominate the ball. We didn't really see that tonight. We had to show a different kind of side of our game, which we were very good at, but we just didn't have enough positive moments really in the attacking third to hurt the Swiss. And as I say, I think if you look at the game as a whole, I think Switzerland probably deserved the game over the course of the game.
Well, look, I think we can get some reaction from Zurich. Manager Gemma Granger is with Laura.
Gemma, heartbreak right at the end. You came so close. How tough is that to take?
It's incredibly tough to take. We know that the margins at this level are fine, and that's been shown tonight. But what I do have to say is that I'm incredibly proud of this group. I'm proud that we compete at this level, and the plan for us is to continue doing that.
This is a record-breaking campaign already. How much pride can you take from that?
We take so much pride from it, but I know we are disappointed right now because we know we can win these games and be successful. It is fine margins, and at the highest level it always will be.
What message do you have for the fans who followed you for the duration of this campaign?
We have to say thank you. We have to say keep following us, because for them, they got us through games. They've followed us everywhere. The crowd tonight have been fantastic, and we thank them, and we want them to keep supporting us.
Gemma, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, the disappointment obviously on Gemma Granger's face, but you just felt that was an interview she wanted to do, to thank the supporters and tell them carry on with us, and also to say, look, what a great shift from the players. It has been a very memorable campaign for Wales Women, where we started and where we ended up with that 15,000 in the Cardiff City Stadium last Thursday.
I think when we look at the whole campaign, when the dust settles with this disappointment, let's look at the bigger picture of what this campaign has produced. The visibility of women's football in Wales, you can't underestimate the power of that. These players on the pitch, they're role models, they're inspiring the next generation. So we have to take that from the campaign. Obviously, our target was to qualify, so we're going to have that disappointment and heartbreak, but there's so much more to take from this campaign.
How far away is that qualification, Danny?
Well, I think we've shown it's not far. I think the team going into the game tonight, they would have believed that they could do it, and rightly so, because of how the team's been performing for a long period of time now. So for it not to happen, obviously, it's going to be a difficult one for the team now the next few days, trying to take in what's happened. But, we talk about kind of creating history and qualifying for major tournaments. This team has already created history, getting to this stage. This is a stage that this team has never really got to before already. So there's been so many kind of positives to take from this campaign. Yes, it's going to hurt now, and it's going to be difficult for the team and for the players to kind of think that way. But there's been so many good aspects of what we've seen from this team, and it's important now that the girls kind of use this disappointment to kind of fuel them, and hopefully it'll help to progress the team on again to that next level, which is qualifying for a major tournament.
I'm just wondering, very quickly, your highlight of the campaign. I know it hurts right now, but has there been something that will stay with you, Katie, very quickly? I
think the record-breaking crowds, just having that moment in the home games, just to see the fans coming in and the young boys, young girls, lots of different generations. That's been the biggest impact for me.
We will concentrate on that. Thank you very much for your company this evening, and Katie, throughout this campaign. It has been such a tough night, a heartbreaking night. We thought it could be Wales's evening. They were so close to making history, but these girls, they have been game changers. Wales will go again. So much confidence for this one. Thank you for your company tonight. Goodbye.
A night of high drama is in store. Could fall to Green. Roberts! Yes! 1-1. Penalty. the post, has another chance. And the celebrations are premature. Ramona with the back to goal. It's a goal, is it? No. One last attack possibly from Switzerland, and it comes right to left. Di Maria post. Oh, it's in.